Well, Pacelli and Bloom are they grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff that went through. From Atari to Trek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the seams. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get cold. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, Toys in the Box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Yeah, I can. That's kind of what I think of. You know, you got to think of. Well, you're thinking more like a country honky.
Or the South, yeah, country or the South. Well, I guess.
Whereas, well, yeah, that's true. I was thinking Chicago blues. You know, like literally House of Blues. But I suppose it wouldn't be out of line to think like Nolans.
Perfect. You know? Yes. Because Nolans is still cosmopolitan, but also still kind of southern. It's kind of a weird mishmash, yeah. So yeah.
And no, we're not. And Medias Res, we were just talking about the opening song, which we just happen to like. You know,
Troy
we
on
like
guitar.
our own music, right? Yeah.
Troy on guitar. Yeah, that was him in the back. Yeah, that's right.
There you
anyway,
go. There you go.
Here we are. Welcome everyone to Geeky Geezers. Before I forget to do the intro again, and I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Papa Pacelli. Is my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, our Geezette.
Yes, I am a Geezette. I love that title.
Yeah.
Geezette.
Yep.
Yes.
Why not?
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yes, that's what I've been saying all this time. I kept thinking.
Geezette.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, is that like Smurfette, Geekette?
Yes.
Because that's fine too.
That's what I was thinking.
Smurfette. You think there was a whole Adam and Eve thing going on with Smurfette being introduced to the Smurfs and how?
Dude, I don't want to think about it. Because I don't want to believe that Smurfs, have like,
There's a biblical analogy there.
Yeah, dimorphic reproduction, okay? Because if that's the case, there's 99 male Smurfs and one Smurfette. That ain't cool.
Well, see, the Brainy Smurf created Smurfette because Horny Smurf needed a female rather than the.
I almost frickin' you. No, actually, I know this wasn't the good old days you were planning, but Boomer, do you know where what Smurfette's origin is?
Gargamel made her, I believe.
That is right. And she was originally a brunette, which was to imply, apparently, no offense to any brunettes out there, that a brunette is evil. And she came to the Smurf village to sow discord. There was some, like, biblical type, Lilith, Eve type
there you go.
elements to the story. And when she realizes that the Smurfs are good and that she is hurting them, she literally repents, and Papa Smurf is able to help purify her, and she becomes a pretty blonde. So blonde, beautiful, good. Apparently,
Papa Smurf like a prophet,
evil.
like a Moses or something.
Yeah, I think that's the implication. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we got some people.
There you go.
Big Al, thank you. Welcome, Big Al. Have a great stream tonight. We plan on it. We got some interesting news tonight. Not all of it bad. Some of it,
not all of it's bad.
some of it is expensive, but it's not all bad.
Well, yeah.
Everything's expensive now. I don't know what to say, man. It's like Ruby Hoove. Thank you for gifting.
Speaking of, thank you for helping to support the channel, Ruby Hoove, with a gifted membership. She is like Gunga Din. She is so faithful. And I said in the chat, I said I have to believe there's special treasure waiting for her in heaven because of how much she blesses us here. But
yeah. And Robert received the membership, so welcome.
Yep, that went to Robert James, filmmaker of 15 Days. Make sure you check that out on Tubi. And not only did Ruby Hoove gift us a membership, but so too did me and my monkey. Gave a gift to Jeff B. Welcome back to membership, Jeff B. And yes, because I caught those before we went live, I was able to add both of those names to the closing credits. So there you go.
Welcome everybody. We're going to have a nice geek news show tonight. We don't necessarily cover all the geek news that everybody else does. Like, of course, Predator Badlands was the big story this week, which I guess I slept on because I was excited last week because I was like, oh, isn't this cool? Because I surmised the plot from a couple clips and I'm like, wait a minute, let me guess. This is Wayland Yutani trying to trap a predator to bring it back for experimentation, and you're on the side of the predator, and there's going to be an evil android played by Elle Fanning. And it's like she's going to be like another Ash type android, and then I thought that was what the plot was, and then no, that's not the plot at all, and it sounds not good, but
yeah, and let's be honest. I'm kind of glad we didn't get too into this because I know a lot of outlets did start talking about this.
Yes.
And they went with rumors that they were hearing. And well, it was based on a review from one of the trades, and now you realize just how trash these rags are. Insisting that the predator is gay and that there's some sort of a love relationship between them. Some of the big channels that I really respect, took and ran with this. And I'm like, look, I understand the whole pose law thing at this point. At this point, you could believe the most ridiculous thing because it would fall so in line with what we have seen out of these entertainment companies. But I've been burned enough times. The last one was the last Superman movie. I said, that's it. I am not taking a stand on anything or commenting on anything. I haven't actually seen myself anymore.
I would like to make a comment.
Okay.
Yes.
Y'all are always showing the love, but tonight a few of you haven't.
Oh.
For Age Boomer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Channel.
If you're on my channel.
6 thumbs up, but 10 watching.
Yeah.
And over on Troy's channel, I just refreshed. There are 13 watching, but only 9 thumbs up. Now, I know you want to show the love and encourage these two gentlemen. These are my geezers here.
Well,
I need them to be encouraged.
And so much more important than that, Aged Boomer. Netter and I got monetized this year because you guys liked us, you subscribed to us, you built our channels up. We got to do the same for Boomer, right?
He only needs 136 more to get
He
500.
only needs 136 more subscribers, and we can monetize him as well. Come on, guys. If you are not subscribed to Aged Boomer, well, it's possible you're here on Netter's channel or on mine. That's fine. Right in the link in the description below is Boomer's channel. You can go watch it on his channel too, and go hit that subscribe button.
Hit a subscribe,
if you guys are here,
Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys are here on Age of Boomers channel, just make sure you're subscribed. Just hit that subscribe button and say,
And
yep.
if you think you're subscribed, go
Double
back
check.
and double check
Double check.
because
Make sure,
YouTube likes to unsubscribe people, even though they
Don't
swear.
double click, because then you'll click off of it. That's not what you want to do.
Yeah, but YouTube likes to unsubscribe people, and I've lost people who then came back later and said, "Oh yeah, I was unsubscribed for some reason." So please double check you're still subscribed. Show these two geezers the love because I know that you love them as much as you love me.
That's sweet. Look,
I will say that could happen
ahead.
though. Like you could think you're subscribed and then you get unsubscribed for whatever reason, and then the feeds still keep showing up in your thing. So you're like, oh, this
because
is
you
like
watch them all the time.
Yes,
you assume you're
so I'm not even
yeah.
necessarily blaming people. Could it be happened by? Well, I'm blaming
and
somebody, but not
and
you
let me
the
give
audience.
you guys a little peek behind the curtain, a little, inside baseball here. I always say that Netta is my number one cheerleader because she absolutely is. But I know why she's trying so hard to encourage us because she knows we're going into that time of year. She knows that I suffer with the seasonal affective disorder, and I just power through it like a man. But she's there to be my support, so that's why she's here encouraging me.
Excellent.
It's like I always support my geezers.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
But
let's get back to saying hi to all the other geeks out there.
Well, welcome. Last call with Troy. Oh wait, never mind.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that guy. That guy. He's all over
and
the
I
place.
saw Geek Flag in here. Welcome. Longest parsec.
Longest
Wait a minute.
parsec. Yeah.
I love that title. I don't know if I've seen you here, but I love that. I love that title. That's.
Couldn't make the Kessel Run without him.
I am one half asleep but present. Well, thank you. We're always happy to have you here. And let me see. Who did I miss?
It might be a little bit late for caffeine, but whatever.
I think I had a Coke earlier. Jessica Hardo, welcome.
Oh, Coke will
Lynn Green,
get
welcome.
going, but
Marc
it'll ruin your nose.
Marc Malnekoff here, speaking as Klingon. Kapla.
Exactly.
We might have a little tiny, itsy bitty bit of Klingon news at the end of the stream. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
exactly. We have a first Klingon. I'll get to it at the end. Yes, of course, everyone's talking.
I'll be right back.
Okay, and Lynn Green. Hail to all from the gates of the land of Nod. Oh, it's getting late for you, huh? I totally understand. Oh gosh, you talk about the land of Nod makes me think of the movie, and we need to do a rewatch of this sometime soon. Restoration with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh right,
Meg Ryan, Sam Neill. Great movie.
I need to watch that. I've never seen a poster for it. It looked intriguing.
Oh, have you not seen it?
Yeah, I need to check it out one of these days. That's got a cast.
Movie, when did it come out? Was that in like 92?
Yes, because I remember I was in. It might have been. Yeah, it would have been in the 90s because I remember I was in a film class at the time at community college, and I saw that poster on someone's wall. So
well, because I was 90% certain that I had seen it at the.
It was in the 90s.
The Fine Arts Theater here in Chicago. And the reason I would have seen it at the Fine Arts Theater was because Netta was working there and she'd sneak me in. I'm literally the guy that snuck in through the side door. But that movie impacted me so much. There was some writing that I was doing at the time that impacted my writing style. I created a character based on Robert Downey Jr.'s character. And...
Cool.
God, yeah, I love that movie.
It's got a great cast from the sound of it too. How are the CGI characters in it? The computer animated. How was that? Oh wait, there wasn't any because we didn't always need that to make
exactly
movies.
Right. Exactly right.
Anyway, that's fine. Keep moving along here.
Right.
Pensec, welcome. CluuStudio, saying that right finally.
Just want to make sure you didn't miss. Did you get Tree Rock Creations?
I believe
and
I did.
Matanui?
But you can say it again. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Matanui.
Oh, Wade, good
to
to
see him on
see
my
you,
channel. And let's see. F Wood. Okay, welcome.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Tim Hayes. Always good to see you.
Got CluuStudios. Tim Hayes. Absolutely. Oh, Tim Hayes. We're going to be talking about one of your favorite YouTubers in just a little bit.
Yes.
One of
Well,
mine.
yeah. I'm gonna have some words to say. Gonna start.
Uh,
There may be a feud starting on
you might
YouTube
start a
tonight. We'll
feud with
see.
a certain channel. Yeah, okay.
JPRPH1 just started a feud over "World Is Not Enough." It's a good Bond movie. It's got some bad lines. Which of them don't? Oh, yikes! Something fell back.
Well, that's true.
All
But
right. CluuStudio. If I miss anybody, I apologize. I think I got everybody, but we got to get into the good old days.
we got to get to the good old days. While you're getting to the good old days, I'm going to bring up a couple of articles. Well, not a couple of articles.
Well,
links to videos on retroblasting. I guess I will drop
we are going
them.
to talk about space, the final frontier. That should be a clue as to what I'm going to talk about here.
But not a good enough one. We need more. We need more. Otherwise, people will just assume it's a Star Trek.
Here we go. Look at that. A thing of beauty and a joy forever. We are talking,
And
of course,
look at how
about
simple that
Lego
is.
space.
That is not like anything terribly complex. This was okay. So we're talking about the Lego space series,
Yes.
and this particular one was one of those little tiny,
Yep.
inexpensive Lego. I guess you could call them. What did they call them? Rack toys. It was a rack toy because Lego, even back in the day, was fairly expensive for some of these bigger sets.
Oh, yeah.
But you could get a smaller one like this that just had a few pieces. The littler kids could enjoy them. And,
and you build this, and then you save up your allowance for the bigger set.
The whole idea, though, behind Lego too was you could let your imagination run wild. You could do all kinds of things, not just the specific ship that was outlined in the instructions. What you would know if I think a lot of Lego fans know this.
Yeah.
That they reuse pieces all the time. So, like for example, you see those translucent red pieces. Those could have been used for tail lights on a bigger car. Right. The one that's got the symbol on the front, without that symbol, that would have been a part of a gabled roof on a house, an antenna for any number of things. And behind the pilot, that's a piece of fencing that you would put around a house.
Yes, well, I noticed this when I was putting together the haunted house fall. How, even though some of the pieces were green, I could see how these could have been used for a normal house, if they were a different color, not the sickly green.
And Jesse makes a great point. This could even be a decent substitute A-wing. Or some sort of an air speeder of some kind if you're doing a Star Wars.
All right, well, it's fine that you bring up Lego Star Wars and all the various other licensed Lego sets. This is back late 70s to late 80s, and this is what we had. There were no licensed Lego set, and we were fine because we had our three main systems, which were town, castle, and space, and we were happy to have them. And we didn't need anything fancy.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah. Absolutely right.
You kids, you are spoiled.
You're spoiled
with all of your fancy.
And the thing about it was they weren't licensed products. They didn't have to pay any royalties to anyone for them.
And to be fair, Lego still does non-royalty sets, and they tend to be cheaper than the ones they have to pay the royalties on. Yes.
It does come off as an option, right? So during the, they had for a long time, they had a pirate line, but that got a big boost when they got the license from Disney for Pirates of the Caribbean.
They would reuse a lot of the same
Basically
materials.
reuse the exact same ships, the exact same specifications and everything. They'd put out special Jack Sparrow minifigure or the Cthulhu looking guy and whomever else.
Did we get the horologist though? That's what I want to know. I sent you that clip, didn't I?
Yes, I did. Yes, you did.
And she's like, Oh, so your mother was academically, my mom was a horologist.
Academically
no
inclined. No, she was kind of horizontally reclined.
Did she know how to tell the time in different areas? And oh yeah, she was always looking at her watch. And then the little guy said, "I can vouch for that." And they looked at him, and it's
Oh God, yeah.
I miss the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but anyway.
There was a missed joke there because I would have loved it if the guy had turned around and looked at him and said, "Dude, seriously? Sorry, man."
I would have liked you to turn around and say, "Dad?" Question mark. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, right.
To Lego Space, though. So this was the Lego Space system. Now I was mainly into. Look at that.
I know. Look at that.
Look at the clear plastic panels. Look at the spaceships.
These were hitting at just the right time because there was a lot of us at the time that were into the Micronauts from Mego, which would have been perfectly scaled with this. And it was a very similar style, some of those ships.
Now, I actually do have a book here called Lego Space, and it lists it from 1978 to 1992. There were space sets after that, but it's covering, I guess, the main, I guess, the highlighted period. And I think it does start in 78. And think about it, space was big, NASA was still impressive, and of course, now I do believe that these sets, even though it's nondescript, I think that they were sort of going for pseudo, like what would NASA be like in a few hundred years? Maybe that's what they were thinking with these sets. I don't know. But Troy, the cool about this is that there are a lot of Lego Castle series and Space series made a comeback. We're going to talk about that at the end. In fact, I'm going to show you something I might have put together. All right. So
Netter just brought me a cup of hot cocoa with a special chocolate spoon.
Well, you're talking about the holidays, and it's like hot chocolate.
Yes.
So one more time I want to drop. This is a link to Michael French's.
Yes.
Retrospective.
Yes. Check this out.
Retrospective on the Lego Classic Space from 78 to 87, which is exactly what Boomer is showing right here. This video is from actually quite a bit back. This one was...
he cuts it off at 87. I know why. We're going to get into that.
Oh, okay.
Because my book here goes to 92 because he didn't like the factions. He complained about the factions, and this is where we might have a little argument. But yeah, he does a great retrospective.
This video is from 6 years ago, though. He does do an update, though, because the Lego Galaxy Explorer, he talked about back in 22. So
here's something cool that Lego does. They don't release the same exact set. Like, they're not releasing the same set from 1978. But what they do is they do like a homage set to the thing that was released in 1978. So it is in the spirit of what was released in 78. And it's like more bulk and larger than what you would have gotten in 78. So it's kind of interesting that they do that. And I will maybe show you something in a second, though. But yeah, Lego Anniversary, that's that one. Check out his videos, definitely. But
in fact, I'm going to go ahead and add these to the description.
Go right ahead. But one thing I loved, and here's what happened. I was in the Castle system, and I kind of happened on Castle system by accident. I think I got a Lego armor shop for my birthday, and I was thought this was the coolest thing, and I started buying other Lego Castle sets. And then for Christmas, a cousin didn't get me a Castle set, but she got me a space set.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know what this is, but this is kind of neat, too. And I put it together. And even though my bulk of my money did go to the Castle sets, I would buy space sets on occasion as well. And what was neat about this is there's an example of a space cruiser. See that?
Right.
I mean, kind of more basic. Like, you have to understand, a lot of the Lego sets, when they were starting out with these theme sets, because they get in mind that theme sets were a big deal. I think they didn't used to have theme sets. You would just buy a big tub of Legos and have at it. That used to be what they did in the 70s.
Well, and that was the benefit. Even when they did start putting out the theme sets, the nice thing was that you did have the ability to, you know what? I want to expand this. I can't afford another, license thing or another big set, but I got all these extra Legos. I can build this thing that I've imagined, that would go really well with this.
There you go.
You know?
And there's a space cruiser. I know I had one of these that could become two different things. One of the cool things about Lego sets, and I think they keep the tradition to this day, sometimes they give you alternative designs. So when you're done building the main
Exactly.
thing, if you want to break it down and build the other thing in the box, you can do that too.
Or, and you know marketing was thinking this, or maybe you buy a second set so that you can have both of them at the same time.
Oh, I've thought about that. I thought about
Yeah,
that with the
yeah.
Blacktron re-release set. I'm like, should I buy a second set so I can just have
And in
both?
fact,
I'm like,
especially with something like the one you've got showing right here, this kind of moon base,
yes,
right? You buy a bunch of them and you can do different configurations. You could have like a whole lunar city.
oh, you know people. I mean, I have to tell you
Yep.
something. I was unaware of this until recently when I was re-exploring my childhood obsession with Legos, and I realized though there are other people my age that didn't stop with the obsession. They kept going, and oh my goodness, they have entire towns in their
Yep.
basements, like how
Well,
people
it's
do
no
model
different
trains.
from
Yeah.
a certain Klingon who's in the chat right now, who has a whole train set with a whole industrial cityscape. So
It's a
yeah,
similar thing, I guess. I mean, I've always found train aficionados fascinating too.
Yeah.
Oh, I had that moon base too. Oh, you did Geek Flag. See, yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And one thing I liked about the Lego space sets was, I guess, what would I call it? Acrylic plastic, the kind you could see through. I always thought that was
Yes.
neat. You
Yeah.
didn't get that in the castle system, because of course medieval times, right? But
Right.
you know,
Well, I don't know. Some of the later ones, I wouldn't have been surprised if they did like some rudimentary stained glass windows.
I don't know if I ever saw stained glass in the Lego castle. Back then, it was very Spartan.
True.
Michael has this video on one of the Lego castle systems that's called the Knight's Procession. He had this theory that it was about the Crusades, about being out.
When he gets into the real history of it, it's like, you know what? He's not wrong. Somebody must have thought that as they put it together, because historically speaking, that was spot on.
Building a clone army. Are you doing the like the clone troopers from Star Wars? That's interesting. But anyway, here you have a this is like a landing pad with a spaceship. So they were all kind of neat. And you know, look at this. Look at this. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And part of me wonders, was this an actual set you could buy, or is this like a modded set that somebody built on their own? I don't know. I was looking at different things online.
A little from column A, a little from column B, very possibly.
Yes. But and of course, look at this. I mean, this is fancy stuff. Like, part of me wonders, because I don't have a clear. My memories of Lego, I wasn't completely in the dark, because what they used to do when you buy sets, you'd get these little pamphlets that would show you the different sets you could buy. And the weird thing was, I would try to find older castle system sets that were harder to find, but I would find them like in weird shops and stuff, and I would get
Sure.
like the blacksmith set that was not in the second line of castle sets. So I got that, and then I would look in that, and I would find older. So I would get to look at some of the older Lego castle system sets, like I guess the Knight's Procession. I think
And
that's
Boomer,
where
I feel like
yeah.
as a couple of geezers, we need to remind the younger audience that we're talking about a time before there was something like eBay, where you could go online and find someone that, you know, had a bunch of them and was reselling them, or could get them directly from the store on their web page, because there were no web pages back then.
It's weird when we think about collecting back in the 80s, because
Yeah.
in some ways it was easier, in some ways it was harder. Like, somebody's finding something specific was difficult, but then you could find stuff in the wild that you would never find now. Like,
Yeah.
that stuff would just disappear. And yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the toy videos that I watch, and one that I'm actually working on myself right now, we kind of comment on that a little bit. I'm doing a video on the history of Star Wars Cantina playsets, and so I necessarily have to talk about the whole blue snaggletooth and even the red snaggletooth, the distribution model that Kenner had. Because they were behind the 8 ball, they were late on getting a lot of figures out. So some of the waves took a long time to get cross country. And so it was a real search. And I had my whole family searching for Snaggletooth almost all year. Yeah.
Was that the one that ended up being a Sears exclusive or something?
The blue one, yes. But even the red one was really difficult to get a hold of, because it also was the last one in its particular line, and I talk about it in my video about the whys and the what fors of that. But Now there's really no excuse for it, because you should be able to go to your local, whatever, Target, Walmart, whatever. Go online, look up the toy, find out what store has it, and go get it. Well, that you can't do that with Target. Target doesn't work that way, but other stores do. They're the ones that are going to still be around when Target goes out of business.
Target. Anyway, here we have, okay, so let's go in. This is the main space system. Like I said, Michael goes into detail on this. But later on, we get what's known as, I guess, the space factions, they say. Now, this is what was called Futuron. Color scheme's a bit different, a lot of whites. The uniforms change. So the space symbol, but you get like, I almost want to say, almost like Federation-style uniforms. They had like... or like Space
that's what they had in mind, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was probably an influence too, yeah.
And then you had, but this is in the '80s, so it was even TNG they were thinking of. And then you have like you have this this visor. Now the astronauts had visors, which is great because I always wondered how they could breathe in those old spacesuits because they didn't have anything protecting their faces.
I know, right?
But cool little sets. And different design, but I think I almost saw this as like Lego Space: The Next Generation. That's how you sort of look at this, right? So yeah. And rather cool. And this was, I don't remember if I had this or I was probably debating getting it, but of course you can only have so much money as a kid.
True.
But this is of course the monorail system. Look at that, huh?
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. You could totally see this being a centerpiece to a bigger city or whatever. And again, this was before you had web pages like Bricklink, where you could go, you know what? I need a whole crap ton of that track and the supports. You would have to just buy more sets of this to get more.
Yeah, but. Yeah, because of course the goal would have have a track that went around the whole basement, like a train.
Exactly. So with different bases and buildings all around.
But now, from the darkest reaches of space comes Blacktron. The villains, except they were never they were never marketed in North America as villains. I remember seeing commercials. Zach, he's a Lego maniac. Now he's a Blacktron Lego maniac. They're going to save the human race. You have these kids doing this rap on the commercial, very like late 80s. And
yeah, I can guarantee you that if I was doing this, the white ones would have been, NASA and whatnot, and these would have been like the Russians or something.
Well, it's funny you mention this because over in the United States, they're portrayed as heroes on the commercials. Then over in England, they're doing like commercials where the Blacktron are the enemies of the regular Futuron space astronauts. And I'm like, what's going on here? Then I had to do some thinking, and I'm like, oh, Blacktron are Americans in the future.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what I thought. And it's funny because I was reading this Lego book, and I thought the same thing. There was some guy that worked for the Lego Factory, and later on, there's a set where a Blacktron agent is in a cell, and he's like, "Oh, were these the bad guys? They never told us that." It's like, but they had kind of.
But
black
again,
go ahead.
Again, in fairness to Lego, I do think they wanted to go easy on the lore and let you
decide.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was a space faction, but these are like the guys going into like harder areas of space that the regular astronauts can't go to.
Oh man, Tree Rock, yeah, Starship Troopers, yeah, you're absolutely right. There is, oh god, can you imagine? I could totally see somebody combining this with, what was the line of? Didn't they have a line of insect builds
later on? Yes, I
I could totally see you doing like Starship Troopers with giant insects. Yeah,
they might have alluded to it. Who knows? But here we go. Now we have, and that's of course the Alienator, Blacktron Alienator, which they did release this past year. I think they're going to phase it out. If you want to get it now. And I think it's even on sale at some places. They released the Blacktron Renegade, but you can also, there's an alternative build instructions you get online that will make you build the Alienator with this set as well. So if you want an Alienator, which I guess is like an Imperial Walker without the license. Anyway, and then the last faction I'm going to talk about here are the Space Police. This was one of the last Lego sets I ever got, and I had this exact set. Notice how on the end there's a little thing to put the that unhooks, and you can actually put a prisoner in there. And it was a Blacktron astronaut, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. And then I realized, oh, Blacktron must be the bad guys. And then I thought, well, if the space astronauts are the Federation, we need Klingons, don't we? We need a Klingon analog. That's how I thought at the time. So, right? So, not that Klingons were bad guys; they're the adversaries or the rivals of the Federation. I think would be a better word for them. If we're being honest here,
adversaries,
right?
Yes. Doesn't mean enemy. It just means you're in a bit of friendly competition.
Well, not so much on the original during Kirk era.
Well, yeah.
But actually, they did something very smart even in Kirk era. Even in Star Trek 3, you have Krug saying, even as some of our emissaries go to talk to the Federation about peace, we will get the Genesis. So you realize that there are people in the Klingon Empire that were wanting to make treaty with the Federation. Yes.
See, and this was, I think there's a lot of people that looked at Star Trek storylines and were like, this whole idea that all Klingons are this way, all Romulans are that way, all of this race are that.
All Federation are good either. That's
it's like that doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? And that's why I loved in Deep Space Nine, there's this great line where someone says something about Klingons, and Jadzia, who of course from her previous incarnation, was an ambassador to the Klingons, says you need to understand Klingons are as diverse as humans are. They have different beliefs and different, they're not all the same, and it's like that makes perfect sense, actually.
Well, it's even with the Romulans. There was actually an episode of Star Trek where you had, getting off on a tangent here, but you had where there was that idea that there was an alien race that sort of spread their influencing genes around the universe, and that maybe Romulans and Klingons and Cardassians and even humans might have had an origin story with this other alien race. And the Klingons and the Cardassians like we could have anything in common with each other. But then the Romulan captain reaches out to Picard at the end. Is like, maybe our hopes and our fears are not so different, he said, and then he hangs up. And I thought that was interesting that the Romulans were that a Romulan was.
We have seen a lot of that, even going back to the original series. If you think Balance of Terror, the Romulan captain and the and Kirk, it was very clear that they had a great deal of respect for each other, even though they clearly were adversaries. And at the very end, he's like, "Who knows? In a different time and place, we could have been friends." Or maybe we would have been friends or something like that, Yeah.
Oh, look, a pleasant stroll with a woman at your side. Hold on. And, wait. Well, hold on. I keep clicking off it. Hold on. Bring it back. A pleasant stroll with a woman at your side, children playing at your feet, and show above fluttering in the breeze, the flag of the Federation charming. Well, from his point of view, this was the worst thing that could happen, and he was terrified of the whole Genesis project because of that. But
well, and let's face it, from the point of view of someone you've been in a Cold War with for a generation, the idea of a missile that you could fire at a planet that would completely wipe out all life on that planet and replace it with, the perfect conditions for you to colonize. That's a weapon.
Praxis?
Well, and that was brought up in Star Trek in Star Trek 2, where the Kirk's son was basically saying, I'm worried that this is something that could be perverted into a terrible weapon. And even Dr. McCoy, this is a cutscene in Star Trek 2. I think it's in the director's cut. And he goes, "Well, in the wrong hands." And then Dr. McCoy says, "In the wrong hands? Would you mind telling me who the right hands are?" Because he didn't even trust the Federation with it. Which
because the line before that was, "And what happens to a planet that already has a what was it, like a life matrix or whatever? Presumably overwritten by the new Matrix," which. Just that line is like, wow.
Well, it horrified Dr. McCoy. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's a doctor, of course, and this is
of course. Yeah.
This is a space police station. The space police were interesting, but at that point, I was moving on to other things because I had this thing called a Nintendo Entertainment System, and that's where my money started going after this. I'd still get Lego sets on occasion, but the bulk of my allowance money.
Leave it to Lynn to really dig. Well, then maybe David shouldn't have rushed in with Proto Matter. Then, yes, you're right. He took a shortcut, and that's what.
Well,
happened.
that was in the sequel, anyway.
Well, yeah.
Well, apparently it must have had to have happened in 2 because it was anyway.
It just wasn't part of the story until 3. Yeah.
What did I want to make a point about though? I don't remember what my last Lego set was. It was either the Rogues Hideout or it was one of the Pirate sets. I don't remember because they had just introduced Pirates when I was getting out of Lego. But moving into, but I did kind of get back into Lego.
Yeah.
I found this on eBay. I almost got this a couple years ago, but because of the hurricane, I said, you're not buying something with tons of pieces. No.
Right.
And then it went off market. But I was able to find this on eBay, and to be fair, it was being sold at retail what it would have cost a couple of years ago. So I was actually surprised at that. So I'm like, okay, well, they're not overcharging me really. So I picked this up, and I put it together, and this is what I built. Isn't that neat?
On that picture on the box, was that a robot, a robot mini?
Yes, the robot is in my model. If you can't really see him, he's underneath the second piece of plastic. He's tucked down there. The back opens up, and the little wheelie cart flies out of it too, and that's kind of.
So
neat.
you're saying that's basically like an astromech droid in that back section there. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. Except
that is cool.
Pieces. And I was very excited. I was actually going to put it on display in the children's case at my library, and then it turned out that it's too big for the children's case. But that's okay because there are 2 alternative designs. I'm going to go down with the second smallest you can get. I'm going to rebuild it as a smaller ship and put it in that case in the new year. So there we go. But that's what I built.
So
I figure
that's
at least
your actual one, Boomer?
Yes, I built this. Yes, I built this. Yes. And
Wow,
Pauline, the instructions, you have to follow the instructions.
Did it come with 4 minifigures in addition to the robot? Wow.
This is considered a premium set. I got it for about 90, I think, which isn't awful because it's not a licensed set. So there's no what do you call it?
Licensing fee, yeah.
Yeah. And the Blacktron set, they did one like this, but with a Blacktron set this year. And that's coming off market. And I've seen some stores selling it like pre-Black Friday deals. You can get that for like 50 something.
Nice.
And that's a good price for that. So, if Legos, you kind of have to wait for sales if you want to get deals on them, or you buy the non-licensed sets. And it's neat. So I got this, and I got the Haunted House. And I also got a big Lego Santa Claus that I'm going to put together. So
see, we could almost do a whole other bit on the non-Lego, what do you call it? Not bootleg, but
they make
Legos.
them, and
they do, and you could do like a whole. In addition, you could do your whole Lego space fleet, and then you can go out and get the other market space fleet, and it would just go perfectly with them.
I am considering at some point, I don't know, because I got the Lego Haunted House this year, but there are off-brand Lego Haunted Houses. Maybe I should just get a bunch of these off-brand Lego Haunted Houses. By the way, I did have the Lego movie on earlier as I was prepping this, and my Lego Haunted House came with a ghost. And when they in the Lego movie meeting where they're meeting all the master builders, you see them all in the background like Dumbledore and Gandalf and Michelangelo from Ninja Turtles and Superman and all these other. And then one of the guys in the background is a Lego ghost, and I was like, "There's the ghost again." There's the ghost again. But anyway, that's it for good old days. But we might have some Lego news at the end of the night. Big deal. But
yes,
it's already almost a little under quarter.
Yeah, we were like 3/4 of an hour into it, and we've been only on
just do good old days because the news is always.
You got a good subject, you know.
I know, but now we gotta.
Unfortunately, we have an in remembrance Diane Ladd, 89.
Honestly, I swear, I'm not even trying to be funny, but I imagined Dale Cooper, Diane. I just want to pay my condolences on the loss of your mother.
Yeah, she's no stranger to Lynch movies herself. I think she was in.
She was in a Blue Velvet.
Oh, that's right.
Was
Okay.
she married to Ellen Ladd?
I actually never thought about it. I just knew that Laura Dern's mom was Diane Ladd. I never really thought about who Diane Ladd was married to.
So here we go. Diane Ladd, the veteran Oscar-nominated actress who starred in film classics.
Wild at Heart. That's
Wild at
right.
Heart. That was the
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Alice doesn't live here anymore, and Chinatown has died at age 89. Her daughter, actress
Chinatown.
Laura Dern, confirmed this week. My amazing hero and my profound gift of my mother, Diane Ladd, passed away with me beside her this morning at her home in Ojai, California. Dern said Monday in a statement shared with ABC News. She was the greatest daughter, mother, grandmother, actress, artist, and empathetic spirit that only dreams could have seemingly created. We were blessed to have her. Dern continued. She is flying with her angels now. Ladd was Oscar nominated 3 times, first for 1974's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and again for the films Wild at Heart and Rambling Rose, released in 1990 and 91, respectively. Dern co-starred in both Wild at Heart and Rambling Rose, and was Oscar nominated for the latter, making Dern and Ladd one of the only 2 parent-child duos nominated for Academy Awards for the same film, the other being Henry Fonda and Jane Fonda in 1981's On Golden Pond. Ladd was born in Mississippi in 1935, later jump-starting her career in entertainment as a Copa girl, performing in New York City's legendary Copacabana nightclub. According to the actress's website, she went on to launch a stage career before transitioning onto the screen, receiving award recognition in short order. Ladd's first major accolade was Golden Globes nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her role in 1974's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. In 1980, Ladd won a Golden Globe for her role in Isabel Belle Dupree in Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for the series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
yes.
yeah.
So we were just talking about the actress who played Flo, who
Yes.
just passed away last month, and Diane Ladd took over when she left. You know, not playing the same character, but playing the replacement character. So yeah.
Yeah. Ladd married Bruce Dern in 1960 and gave birth to their daughter Laura Dern in 1967 after the couple's first child, a daughter named Dana Elizabeth, died at a young age in a tragic accident. So that's awful. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diane was a tremendous actress, and I feel a bit of a hidden treasure until she ran into David Lynch, said Bruce in a statement. When he cast her as Laura's mom, Wild at Heart, it felt like the world then really understood her brilliance. Bruce Dern's statement continued, she was a great value as a decades-long board member of SAG, giving a real actress point of view. He added, she lived a good life. She saw everything the way it was. She was a great teammate for her fellow actors. She was funny, clever, gracious, but most importantly to me, she was a wonderful mother to our incredible Wunderkind daughter, and for that I will be forever grateful to her. Okay, that's good sentiment for Bruce
She
Dern.
was just a beautiful woman. You can see a lot of that in Laura Dern when she's not, playing, purple-haired, psycho,
Do you know what was fascinating about Laura Dern? Because she's in that horrible Last Jedi as Admiral Holdo, right? And then I'm watching her walk the red carpet for the premiere of Last Jedi, and like she's a fox. She was all done up, looked great, and then she looks great. And then Last Jedi, she looks horrible. But to be fair, everybody looked horrible in that movie except Rey.
Yeah.
Everyone was stressed. Oscar Isaac looked like he hadn't bathed for a week in that movie. It was horrible.
I know, and
it's like the one that played Rose, took a day off. It's like
the girl that played Rose Tico is just beautiful.
Yeah,
but you would never know that if you only knew her from Star Wars.
They gave her a horrible haircut and stuck her in a potato sack, and that's what happened.
I mean, if you're gonna bother, why not just turn her into one of the aliens? Behind a rubber mask.
This was
What's
Ryan.
The point?
It was Rian Johnson messing with the audience. That's what it was.
Well, but he was also messing with people's careers too. This has really hurt people like that actress,
Yeah.
This is an EU reference. Lynn Green says HOLDO is an odd way to spell winter. I see what you did there.
Anyway, rest in peace. The dying lad. Oh, this is a jump. Okay. Sorry.
Well, that's a weird looking weapon. It looks like he's firing an arrow, but it's got a
Okay.
gun on the front.
I
It's
have.
a cartoon, so it
Okay.
gets you and then it goes pew.
Pew. Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
go
exactly.
pew. This is from The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, a game that during after Hurricane Ian, when I was your house was covering, I sort of became obsessed with this game, and I say that like I'm still not, because it's huge and I've not come close to beating it, because what this game created wasn't a it's not, this isn't like a video game world. This is an actual living, breathing world. That's what it felt like when I was playing it. And the cool thing about this is, original Legend of Zelda is like a high fantasy world, right? Like with magic and
Yes.
swords and sorcery and things like that. This game takes place, I want to say, tens of thousands, if not 100,000 years after those original Zelda games. And in this game, Hyrule already had a high period of advanced technology, and then that fell. And then they sort of rose again, but not quite what they were. So much time has gone by. But basically, you have these elements of technology, and it's almost like technology that's also infused with magic. So it's like a combination of the two. And that arrow, I think, is an example of that. So that's what
Yeah.
that is. Like these weird relics that are part technology and part magic. It's very strange. It's a big fan. Zelda has the famous golden cartridge. Yes, it did. Anyway, the reason I bring this up, though, former GTA boss Dan Houser. Anyone who knows Dan Houser, he was a big creative input. I think head writer too on all the Grand Theft Auto games. Also, I believe the Red Dead Redemption games for Rockstar. And it was interesting because he says Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom are like Alfred Hitchcock films.
Yeah,
What it,
I mean, exactly the same. I think that
the
every
nothing.
single time I watch North by Northwest, I'm like, this is just like playing a game of Zelda.
Yeah, that does. It doesn't make any sense from this thing. But let me. I'm gonna. I think I get what he's trying to. I think I get what
Okay.
he. Whatever. Blah, blah. Let me read the article. When it comes to studios that have shaped games and how they are developed, Rockstar Games is definitely one of the names that should come up. But Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser has some strong words for how Legend of Zelda shaped gaming, calling the games akin to films of Alfred Hitchcock. Speaking to Lex Friedman, Houser speaks about the early days of years of 3D gaming, saying all of those early 3D games were very amazing when you first saw them, adding that suddenly these games, they're alive and they're believable in a different way. House and Friedman speak about Nintendo specifically, saying that Nintendo's approach to gaming always makes sure that no pixel is wasted, with Friedman saying Zelda pioneered the feeling of a world. Hauser singles out The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, saying that the new ones, they almost to me feel like Hitchcock. They're just speaking the language of video games. He notes that everything is going to work the way and that way, and it's quite systemic. Adding that how it all blends together in Zelda is so amazing. Hauser says it feels like when you watch a Hitchcock film, it's not reality. He's speaking the language of cinema in a very strong accent. It's very, very cinematic. It's not realism at all. He believes that recent Zelda games are these amazing things that could only be video games. They couldn't be anything else. That probably doesn't bode well for his opinion on the upcoming Zelda movie. But the reason I bring this up, and we've been ragging on gaming a lot for the past couple months, but it's interesting to see Dan Houser, who was responsible for the Grand Theft Auto games, and however you feel about what those subject matter, from a technical perspective, those games are near perfection. They're like a benchmark that a lot of other people strive to get. And it's interesting that this guy is also commenting that even though he's been involved with what many consider almost like perfect game series, the Zelda games, especially the new ones, he considers those a benchmark
Yeah.
as well. And it's almost like when someone from the Beatles might be looking up to the Who for inspiration. Like I think Paul McCartney was listening to Who music when he was trying to help write Beatles music. So it's interesting how big creative voices can respect each other, and it's nice. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's
I
it.
agree.
That's why I had this. As usual, Boomer is an interesting character. What is that supposed to mean, Tim Hayes? That's Link. No more green tunic and Robin Hood hat. This is how he looks now. He wears a blue tunic.
He lost his hat and he changed his top. I mean, it's cool. There's nothing
To
wrong
be
with that.
to be fair, if you have amiibos, those little plastic things Nintendo sells, you can unlock the classic Zelda outfits in the game to put on. In fact, in Tears of the Kingdom, you don't even need the amiibos to do it. They'll allow you to unlock it even other ways if you don't have the amiibos. So that's kind of neat.
Well, I can tell you that it looks a lot better here than it did in Drawn Together.
Well,
Dude, why you got to bring that up?
We've got the whole thing on
Punching
DVD.
low.
That is a sick but incredibly funny series.
It makes an insinuation about Link that I never saw in the games. Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm
Anyway.
on a quest to save my girlfriend.
Okay. Here's the deal. Okay. There's not a romantic relationship between the two of them because frankly he's the knight and she's the queen, she's the princess. It's not, there's that dividing line.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that Link may not get married to the nice girl in town that they like showed in several of the games, and that's probably what happens. And maybe Zelda I don't know if Princess Zelda goes on to marry anyway, but that's the idea. It's I serve the royalty. Do you understand?
Right.
It's like
right.
Yeah, but anyway. Don't forget his red version of his clothes. Yes, that was from Ocarina of Time. Yes, he needed that, I think, to go into the fire areas. Anyway.
I have a buddy who specifically learned to play the ocarina just to play the tune from Ocarina of Time.
There you go. And I know that there was and to be fair, I want to give Nintendo credit, or maybe they still had to pay a license, but basically they had this, there was a lady that there was an ocarina company in North America, and I don't know if they went to Nintendo for the official license or if Nintendo just let them alone, but they allowed them to make ocarinas, their versions of ocarinas that looked like the one from Ocarina of Time, which was
That's
nice.
pretty cool. Yeah,
before they were so happy. Anyway, so now we're at modern Nintendo.
Speaking of which,
yes, that was my transition. U.S. Patent Office boss orders re-examination of Nintendo's controversial summon characters and let it fight Pokemon patent, which IP expert claims further undermines credibility of its case against Palworld. So basically, because of them going after Palworld, the U.S. Patent Office is saying, should they? The impression I'm getting is, should they have a patent on this? So
yeah, and I love this subtitle: public outrage to blame. No, public outrage to thank. I want to remind everybody that the court of public opinion is as important as the legal courts. And you can influence government, and particularly the judiciary, by your online getting the message out. It is very, very important. And we now live in meme culture where we meme, Nintendo into oblivion to point out how ridiculous it is that summon character and let it fight is somehow something they have a proprietary right to. That's a punchline. That's a joke. And you start getting that out there and people start laughing about it. You eventually the courts start looking at that going, wait a minute. Yeah, that is pretty absurd, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The Director of the United States Patent and Trademark Office has ordered a re-examination of Nintendo's controversial summon character and let it fight Pokemon patent after it was heavily criticized by IP lawyers. In September, IP lawyers criticized the U.S. patent system and the USPTO after Nintendo was awarded a Pokemon patent that revolves around summoning characters and letting it fight. I wonder how old that is. Could that have been from the 90s? Because part of me wonders if, some judge or whatever, or someone work doesn't know anything about video games, and now people are more aware of just what these mechanics mean, and they're like, this doesn't make any sense for them a patent on it.
I will make this argument. It's not really on the judge to know this. It's on the lawyer making the case to educate the judge and explain it to him. Look, there are other cases that you guys might be aware of and don't even realize you're aware of that are very similar. There was the legal case between Fawcett Comics and, at the time, National Comics, eventually became DC Comics, where they were suing Fawcett Comics over the Captain Marvel character, saying he was too similar to Superman. And that was a very interesting case that ended up not being ever completely decided because National Comics ended up buying Fawcett Comics and inheriting the character.
Of Captain Marvel. Yes.
But they tried to do the exact same thing in the 80s when DC Comics decided to sue, I'm forgetting what network it was that carried the greatest American hero. And what I found very interesting, this case, it ended up getting thrown out, but the judge made a great observation. He said, I've looked over this case, and you don't have a right to a flying superhero in a cape. That in and of itself is not enough to say these characters are alike. He said, and as this case lays out this Ralph, I almost said Ralph Dibny, which is a DC character, this Ralph Hinckley character, his origin sounds a whole lot more like your Green Lantern than it does like Superman. So that might have been a whole different case you could have brought, but no. As it stands now, and as the case was brought, and so they ended up winning the case. The problem is that these kinds of cases can be very devastating to the defendants who have to defend their rights at their own expense,
Yes.
sometimes to the point of bankruptcy. It's very,
Awful.
very unfair.
So let's see. Games Free reported that patent number. I'm not even going to read that number. Dubbed the 397 patent was granted by the USPTO without any objection to Nintendo, which was embroiled in ongoing litigation in Pocket Pair's Pal World. Well, the patent sums up how Pokemon games work and that you summon Pokemon to battle other Pokemon in the hopes of adding them to your collection. There are countless other games that use similar mechanics, such as Persona, Digimon, and even Elden Ring, depending on how the patent is interpreted. You leave Persona alone, Nintendo.
No.
Okay.
That's the point, though. They don't have a claim to this any more than they do to those other companies as well.
Oh, look at this. Now Games Friday reported that Donald Trump nominee J.A. Squires, who became director of the USPTO in September, has personally ordered a re-examination after he determined that a substantial new questions of patentability have arisen to certain claims made by the patent.
Make intellectual property great again. I'm all for that.
I'd heard go ahead.
I love this. Troy, Nintendo can go pound itself after raising the cost of games, putting term and service agreement that makes the Switch 2 not yours. They're questionable lawsuits. I think over the past month or two, you've heard me go off on
I
Nintendo
forgot about them
everything.
banning users from using their... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I was trying to think of lists of what was making me mad. I didn't like the game. The banning is bad, too, yes. Anyway, let me go back over this, though. This was interesting because this is the latest legal blow for Nintendo and its legal battle against Power. Last month, one of Nintendo patents related to its monster capture patents filed last year was rejected by the Japan Patent Office for lacking originality. So Japan is also saying they don't have a case of this stuff.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. I think they overreached, and they're going to have no place to go. And
we said that at the time, though.
maybe instead of wasting money on lawyers and trying to sue, just make a better Pokemon
Make
game.
a better product, yeah.
Make a better Pokemon game. No one's
This
going
is
to care
what
about
I always
Power
say.
World.
If you feel it important enough to defend your IP against imitators, make a better product. You have no better defense than that.
Do you know what no one has understood? Pokemon would lend itself so well to like a massively multiplayer online RPG. Not that that's my style of game, but they said based on
Pokemon Go should have been that. It had every opportunity to be there.
Or it could have been a basis of what it could have been if they, for pay.
And I even said when Pokemon Go came out, I said, why haven't the people behind this reached out to the Ghostbusters and licensed them so you can go hunt ghosts?
That would be pretty interesting.
Right?
Yes.
What are you doing in my front yard? I'm busting ghosts. Okay, go ahead.
But actually, there's some movie news. So here we go. I feel weird because it's like...
And some speculation, too.
This is from That Park Place. Nintendo confirms ongoing plans for multiple movies beyond Super Mario Galaxy and Zelda. Nintendo's not done conquering the box office following the billion-dollar success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The company has confirmed that a wave of Nintendo movies is officially in the works, and this time they'll be coming at a much faster pace. It's possible that the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, which fans have dubbed the NCU, could be happening after all. In a presentation tied to Nintendo's second quarter financial results, company president Shuntaro Furukawa announced plans to maintain a consistent release cadence of feature films based on the company's most iconic franchise. According to Furukawa, Nintendo is no longer interested in simply licensing its IPs and stepping aside. Instead, the company is taking a more hands-on approach, deeply involved from planning and development through to production. I mean, granted, Hollywood these days, I don't want to give them thing too, but this isn't really your wheelhouse, Nintendo. You don't make movies, you make video games. The presentation confirmed two major products currently in Nintendo Cinematic Universe: Super Mario Bros. Movie for 2023, Super Mario Galaxy Movie 2026, The Legend of Zelda for 2027. Two additional projects appeared on the presentation slide, marked only with question marks, telling more Nintendo movies are already in development. You know the movie I want, but they're not going to make it, would be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
They did. It's called Rocky.
No, but I would, and they could just get Mike Tyson to voice himself in the movie.
Right,
they could just bring him back. And because they dropped hints that in the Super Mario Brothers movie where they had the boxers in this pizza parlor from the Punch-Out game, and I thought, wouldn't that be interesting if they did a Punch-Out movie? I think it would be a lot of fun. It would be like a children's like a cartoon version of Rocky, basically. They could get Stallone, or maybe get Stallone to voice one of the characters, huh?
Right?
Not Little Mac, but maybe somebody else in it.
Actually, I feel like so many of these video game companies are really missing out on movie tie-in opportunities. I was just looking back at some of my old games in my what is it, Grand Old Games, is that the name of the platform? GOG. And I have good old games, and I have the Ultima series.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, these games, you don't even have to jump to the last one. You could start with the first one and tell the implied story from each one and take it up through all the ages with different characters each time. And you could absolutely do that. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, here's Ultima's another game franchise that bit the dust because EA bought the company and let it wither away. Because that's what EA does, Electronic Arts does. But I remember. Do you remember Ultima Online when that was out?
I never played it, but I knew of it, yes.
Well, apparently the guy that created the Ultima series, Lord British, he was a character in the game, and he was as himself Lord British when he would go online, right?
Sure.
So he would be in the game, and a friend told me this story, and I don't know if it was true, but that apparently he wasn't invincible. He had a very high hit points and was a strong character, but apparently some game players cornered him and all just gang attacked him until they destroyed Lord British in Ultima Online. And at the time, I thought, that is like a real, if you pardon the expression, dick move for the guy that created the entire Ultima series. And because originally he would be there, he would give players advice, and it would be like a celebrity showing up in the game. And I guess some guys just figured out a way to kill off his character in his game. And I thought that was really just... Well, again, I don't know if this is a rumored story or not, but yeah.
Unless it's a combat-centered type game like PUBG or I don't know. I don't know these kinds of games where it's literally, battling against other players. A lot of these MMORPGs don't even have a mechanic for you to fight each other unless you go into PvP combat missions or whatever. I know Star Trek Online, I can go through the whole game and never have a combat with other players. You can't do battle against. You can fire weapons, but they don't do any damage unless you're in a PvP.
I see. Well, that makes sense. So it's optional, I guess. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesse was just talking about a friend who was using his Pokemon Go while he was driving, looking for Pokemon.
No, that's
I've heard
fun.
no, I've heard about people like walking off the end of a cliff, looking for Pokemon. It's
Okay,
like,
have someone else
pay
drive the
attention.
car while you do that. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have
Yeah, I
some.
mean, and that would be half the fun. But stop right here, right here. You know.
Could we see Metroid get a big screen sci-fi adventure? I have no idea. This is asking a Donkey Kong spinoff featuring Seth Rogen's version of the character. Gross. Okay, what is that? Okay, or maybe Star Fox soaring into. I think the Donkey Kong movie will happen. I think that's going to happen. Star Fox soaring into theaters. I'm sorry. I like Star Fox, but I don't think Nintendo treats it as a top IP anymore. And do you want a Kirby movie? You gonna watch a
Uh,
pink marshmallow thing for
I
90 minutes? I don't know. I just
maybe if it was like an animated thing or something
this is
like
why
that.
I want Punch Out because Punch Out makes the most sense,
Well,
but
could
they're
you
not going to give me
imagine?
Punch Out.
You have a Mike Tyson character, right?
Yeah,
But could you imagine like Glassjaw Joe or whatever, or all the other characters?
Soda
I'd love to,
Popinski.
yeah, and I would love to see them in that cartoon style.
Yeah, because
Right?
I mean that it lends itself to like a CG
Yeah.
movie, anime, like with the
And if
cartoon
not
style.
that, if you got to do it live action, then
That'd be funny too, actually.
I
Yes.
want to see it like Dick Tracy with all the villains that had these
The
makeup
prosthetics.
prosthetics. Yeah.
We gotta talk about Dick Tracy for good old days one of these days. That's a
Yeah.
fascinating movie. So we'll see, but Kirby, really?
Who could play King Hippo? Well, if she hadn't left the country, I would have said what's her name?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Um, Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah,
Okay,
but
funny man. Funny man. But oh, Punch Out. Punch Out is another one of these games where I think they'd be afraid to make today because all these terrible nation stereotypes. Oh, shut up!
yeah,
It was all in good fun.
yeah.
You had, I mean, they even made fun of Japan in that game, and it was a Japanese game. Okay, you had
Hey,
Kistanaka.
it's me, Mario.
He was the referee in Punch Out. Did you know that?
Yeah, yeah.
It was so weird. It's like he comes out and screams, "That's Mario. Why is he the ref? This is plumbing not doing so well right now." I don't know. Just all right. Moving on to here
Oh
we go.
God. Oh
Well,
my God.
okay, Marvel reaffirms long-term partnership with Sweet Baby aligned Insomniac, citing shared values. I almost want to say Sweet Baby tainted Insomniac, citing. I think that might
Right?
be a better title. They were all over Spider-Man 2. Um, that's why Mary Jane got changed in that again, and it was no. I think
Sweet Baby has corrupted every game they've touched. It's why all games suck now. The when I refer to them as cultural vandals, this is what I mean.
yeah. So we have. I'll go ahead and read this because this is from the upcoming Wolverine game they have coming out. So Marvel Games has officially confirmed that its collaboration with Insomniac Games isn't ending anytime soon. In an interview with Game Informer, Marvel Games general manager Haluk Mentes said the company plans to continue working with the Spider-Man and Wolverine studio for many years to come. The renewed commitment between Marvel and Insomniac follows a decade of partnership that's produced some of PlayStation's biggest modern hits. Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2, with Marvel's Wolverine now targeting a fall 2026 release. We have been working together for more than a decade of development, such a shorthand across multiple Marvel Spider-Man games. Well, for starters, I'm going to say this too. It makes sense that Sony would be able to create, because this Insomniac is a Sony studio, that they could create a Spider-Man game because Sony has a lot of has Spider-Man
Exactly.
rights. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
have game rights, but they have movie rights to Spider-Man. It was our shared culture and values that brought us together. We're so proud to continue collaborating many years to come. That confirmation alone is major news, but for many fans, it raises a bigger question. What kind of values are Marvel and Insomniac planning to carry forward? We know what kind of values they're planning to carry forward. We've seen who's writing the comics. Longtime PlayStation fans still remember when Sweet Baby Inc. publicly announced it was working with Insomniac on Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine back in 2021. The Montreal-based narrative consultancy firm markets itself as champion of inclusivity and storytelling equity. You have no idea what they did with Spider-Man 2. I watched videos on it. It was cringe what they did to that game. And I actually liked the first Spider-Man game they brought out on PlayStation. It was interesting because it took place right after Peter Parker had graduated college with, I guess, like a bioengineering degree or some whatever he did. And he was working for Dr. Otto Octavius as an intern or like an assistant, which was interesting. Doc Ock isn't Doc Ock yet in that universe. And the game begins with him helping the police to take down the Kingpin, who I guess was the main villain up until that point in the game. So, in the game world, because it was like an original game world, kind of like how the Batman Arkham games is an original game world for Batman. This is supposed to be an original game world for Spider-Man, but I heard it anyway. While Spider-Man 2 earned praise for visuals and accessibility, its dialogue, tone, and character emphasis drew criticism for feeling sanitized and overly focused on social messaging. That perception only intensified when insiders confirmed that Sweet Baby Inc. was part of the game's writing team. Now, with Wolverine on the horizon, fans are wondering, are the same consultants steering the narrative? Sweet Baby Inc.'s website has since been stripped down to a single landing page listing only select past projects. The company's radio silence, coupled with a lack of clear credits for Sony or Insomniac, has only deepened speculation that SBI might be quietly involved with Wolverine. Well, this is interesting. I didn't know about this. Did you?
No, I didn't. But it does not surprise me at all.
Do you think they've gone underground? That they're still operating, but they're underground now?
It totally fits with the neo-Marxist method. Yeah.
It would make sense because I know that many of these unfortunate Sony studios, they do have a lot of leftists working in them. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that. So they were probably happy to bring these by. I don't know, but their presence on Wolverine is rumored to persist, so that begs the question, is Marvel commitment to continue with Insomniac actually Marvel continuing to work with Sweet Baby Inc.? Insomniac's Marvel partnership illustrates tension that's been growing industry-wide: creative freedom versus ideological branding. Marvel and PlayStation both face pressure. Well, where is your mind on Marvel right now? Do you think they've drunk the woke Kool-Aid, or are they backing off? Marvel in general. Because it's confusing, because you have Marvel Studios, which is the movie side of things. Let's not even bring up the comics, because we know where they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is Marvel on board with this? Are they still trying to push the wokeness? That's what I'm asking.
Considering they're owned by Disney, I would presume so, yes. And everything that I've seen from Marvel for over a decade says, yeah, they're going to be all in on this. This is why, this whole thing about shared values. Yes, they have shared values. They're all neo-Marxist values. They're all anti-American values. But there you have it.
I have a short memory. I kept forgetting about Agatha all along. That was one of theirs, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not... We're going to know what happens when the Wolverine game comes out, but I don't know.
Jesse,
the funny thing, the least political of these three are, from what I can tell, is Marvel, but they're also okay. Troy,
absolutely there. To parody Samuel L. Jackson's famous speech from Snake's Eye Play, I am tired of these MF and Spider-Man games on this joke of mother effing video game industry. Yes.
Well, here's the weird thing, though, but not everything Marvel-related in gaming is woke. Like, that one Chinese company made, like, I want to say, I think it was a Fortnite clone using Marvel characters, and everybody loved it.
There lies the irony.
All the women were beautiful, and they love playing. That's a modern game, so that's...
Therein lies the irony. When you get something from China, it's non-woke, and yet they are also, well, they're beyond Marxist. They're Maoists.
Well, yeah, but they still agree that you should have attractive characters in video games. So there's that. That's still just a weirdly specific pet peeve. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I don't know. I'm just Marvel is in a weird state right now because they do license out to companies that do. I mean, like they're doing a Marvel beat 'em up that looks like an old school beat 'em up. That's
Yeah.
coming up for the people that did the Turtles. I think Shredder's Revenge game, and it looks really good. And it looks like it's being heavily influenced by the Marvel comics of like the 80s and 90s, where you have old school Iron Man and old school Captain America, and like it looks like something that would have been made at that time. And I think there's even a Marvel fighting game coming out from the people that worked on the Guilty Gear series. I think that's who's making it, and that also will probably be okay. That's the problem with Marvel, but I think anything Disney tied, I don't trust. Insomniac, I don't trust, especially if Sweet Baby Inc. is still involved, which I suspect they will be, or they would have had to have some influence over Wolverine because this game has been in development for a while. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, moving on to Hollow Knight Silk Song or Wolverine. Oh, Hollow Knight. You probably don't know what Hollow Knight Silk Song is, do you, Troy? You there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It was
I
an
don't
indie.
think I do.
It was an indie game made recently, a sequel to an old game, and it got really great reviews. But I think it came out at like, I don't know if it was $20 or $25, and or it came out at a very reasonable price, and all the other indie creators were giving the creator grief for releasing it at such a low price point. Well, now I'm going to have to make my game lower than yours because yours is and I'm thinking, don't yell at the people making Hollow Knight for trying to give the customer something at a reasonable price. All right, I didn't understand this. This was a big thing, but like I said, sometimes the fans are making the best stuff, and I would argue the indie creators in gaming are probably doing better stuff. Oh, here we go. You missed my mini rant before the stream. Disney planning Sleeping Beauty remake set in Mexico.
We should point out, again, as everyone else has, and some people have overlooked, it does say rumor. This is a rumor. But as I've pointed out, as per Poe's law, we have seen stuff like this so often, especially from Disney. This does not seem unrealistic. In fact, it seems very, very plausible.
So Disney may be stepping into familiar and dangerous territory yet again, according to entertainment scooper Danielle RPK. The studio could be moving forward with a reimagining of Sleeping Beauty titled Aurora and set in Mexico. Yes, a Sleeping Beauty in Mexico retelling appears to be on deck, continuing Disney's now established pattern of reshaping classic fairy tales through cultural reinterpretation instead of creating new stories for today's audiences. That decision is raising eyebrows for simple reason. The last two times Disney attempted to reinvent a classic princess through modern cultural lenses, The Little Mermaid and Snow White, the results were cultural battlegrounds and financial disappointments. Neither project landed the triumphant reception the company likely hoped for. Instead, they sparked heated debate, fractured fan bases, and fueled months of social media controversy. And I know you were mentioning behind the scenes that Snarky J had an interesting video. This is what I want to say. If we're talking about Mexico, we're dealing with a country that's hundreds of years old, that has its own cultural traditions, probably its own folk tales and fairy tales, and why don't they just adapt one of those?
Right.
This is what I don't understand this. I mean, for starters, the whole thing about Sleeping Beauty is there's a king and a queen and a princess. Mexico doesn't have a king.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Unless it's a president's daughter. This doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
I mean, if they were to set it in Spain, that would make more sense, right? Because that had a monarchy and whatnot. So I don't understand this.
I'm going to drop the link to Snarky J's video just because I just thought it was funny because as you were kind of doing a little mini rant behind the scenes, I was like, my gosh, this is just, exactly what Snarky J said,
Yeah,
oh,
so
yeah.
why not?
And it's like, I've never seen her get this hot about a subject, and
Yeah.
she was hot.
She really was.
And it's like, she was like yelling and screaming. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. Why not create a brand new Mexican princess for a brand new world? Disney already succeeded once in that realm with Elena of Avalor, and the character was mostly embraced by the public and integrated well into the company's theme park. Why don't they just do a live action Elena of Avalor movie? Why don't you just do that? You already have your. I don't. Rather than taking Sleeping Beauty, which does not make any sense. Now, to be fair, I could be wrong, but I think even though Sleeping Beauty, that original story, it comes from Europe. I think if you go back far enough, it has Greek origins, right?
No, it's
Or is it similar?
French, and I forget what the other, German and French,
Okay.
and then compiled by the Brothers Grimm.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So I'm just saying I I don't get it. Just do something else. For starters, they just did the Maleficent movie, so why are they going back to Sleeping Beauty again?
Yeah.
And and this reminds me years ago how of when I think it was on Ain't Cool News, they brought up this movie that Disney apparently had in the works, and I always thought it was a rumor and that maybe it wasn't true, but it was going to be called Maria Boppins, and it was going to be a Latina version of Mary Poppins instead.
Yep. Yep.
And and it sounded from the right reading it very offensive, like very condescending to that culture. And I thought I know that was probably their attempt to probably be, what's the expression, diverse, but I think it had the opposite effect from the sound of it, which is probably why the project got canned.
Because it underlines and
I
underscores
just
how racist they really are. And what this is not diversity. This is tokenizing. That's what this is. This is your culture isn't good enough for us to take stories from it. We want European stories, but we will tokenize you and give you a role in it.
I don't get it. Mexico and Latin America in general has a great cultural tradition. There are probably plenty of children's stories and other things from that part of the world that you can now make into a movie. So should you choose, probably folk tales that haven't been told yet. Why don't they just do that? That's what they used to do. Remember Milan? No one had done Milan before as a Disney animated film, and I don't. Of course, then they remade that, and everybody hated that because that's all they do. But Disney is doing this deliberately to poke the bear, ask us, and attempt to make us look anti-Mexican women. But that's not what I'm saying. Believe it or not, in this case, I'm feeling more for people of Mexican descent being offended, having their thing torn down as well. That's what I'm thinking with this. I don't think they get it. Disney isn't done doing their cultural vandalism to fund Disney. Yes, and I don't know. I I wonder what Paulie thinks of this. I guess Paulie's going to wait for official word. Okay, right.
Probably,
Yeah,
but I'll be keeping an eye on
yeah.
Latino Slant to see what he has to
I'm
say about this.
just thinking, Troy, why doesn't make a movie about three caballeros and Donald Duck going over local stories? You know, what's interesting, the three caballeros, that was Walt Disney's attempt. He was wanting to create original cartoon characters for Latin America, like fellow birds that Donald would have run into that represented different parts of Latin America, because Disney was trying to move the Disney brand down there as well, and that was that attempt. It was interesting. But if you want organic localization, sell the rights to make their own homegrown Sleeping Beauty. They might have done something already. I don't know. All right, but it just doesn't make sense. And leave Sleeping Beauty alone. Frankly, you're not going to top the original animated movie anyway. And they already did their live action ones with the different take on Maleficent, so I don't know why we're going with this again.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Willow. I feel so bad for Warwick Davis.
Me too.
I wish he could have been in a better show, and I'm sure he was doing his best. Disney's deleted series Willow 2022 was revealed to have a budget of $17 million per episode, according to a recent Forbes report by Carolyn Reed. The author cites filings from Barking Lion Production Studio, subsidiary of Disney, in order to back up its claims. Being more economical than its neighbors at Marvel and Star Wars, the total cost for Willow came to $136.3 million. Well, it looks like they just shot in the woods somewhere. I'm kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
The show only aired for one season, where Disney pulled the plug in 2023, along with several other series on Disney Plus. Filings for the studio indicate that a second season was in production, but has been abandoned. These cancellations didn't slip quietly into the night, however, as Tony Gilroy alleged Disney appeared to have lost faith that Disney appeared to have lost faith in streaming. Simultaneously, former Willow actors have publicly shared their candid opinions regarding the company's actions. In September of this year, The Hollywood Reporter released an interview with Ruby Cruz, who played Kit in the series. During their conversation, the actress was prompted to give her thoughts on Disney ending the niche fantasy saga prematurely. Willow exists in its own little bubble of time and space, and it reached the people it needed to reach, the actor shared. Of course, I also feel conflicted about it. It breaks my heart that people can't watch it anymore, and I support people and wanting answers. I'll give her credit. That's a diplomatic answer, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
The article states Cruz was upset at the time, yeah, because she works on this thing. She's not going to get any residuals from this thing. But that she is now grateful for the character's public impact. On the other hand, legendary actor Warwick Davis has been much less restrained in his response. Talking to X, he accused Disney of valuing shareholders over subscribers when it comes to creative decisions. I'm in agreement with that. I'm sorry. Forbes states that a massive influx of viewers seen during the 2020 lockdowns pushed Disney to commission an excess of shows. Allegedly, numerous streaming companies actually filed suit in order to remain competitive. By the time these shows had actually gone to air, the public restrictions were already being lifted. Did they think we were going to be stuck at home for the next decade and wouldn't be able to leave?
I think their ability to look beyond the present is completely absent. It seems ridiculous because anyone with even the tiniest amount of perspicacity should be able to reason those kinds of things out, but it really does seem like these same people that are incapable of writing new stories without, adapting old properties, and reworking them for modern audiences are also not capable of looking dispassionately at the condition of the world and saying, is it reasonable that things will continue unchanged the way they are?
Can we forget about Will already? I like everyone beating up a dead horse before. Unfortunately, the horse is nothing but bones at this point. Well, you're right about that. And let's be honest here. Willow had to be good. This show had to be good because I'm going to be kind to the original movie. I like it, but I don't even know if it even has a cult audience. It needed to revitalize itself as a brand.
It's niche within niche. It
Yes.
really is.
I mean, I think it's a good movie, but nobody else at the time did. I thought it was going to be like the next Star Wars or Indiana Jones series, but I was alone when I saw it because nobody else, apparently, people aren't ready for high heroic fantasy at that point on the big screen.
Well, it definitely did kind of fall into that that kind of high fantasy. Look, we went through a period where things like the Dark Crystal and Krull and
it had all that, but yeah.
All of these kinds of things were out there, so it certainly could have been. But again, they really. I could do a whole other stream just about Willow because they had the template to make it really great. They should have gone the way of Star Wars with the action figures and the play sets.
Oh, they so screwed up the action figures.
And they totally could have reused molds like they did for what's it called? Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and don't even get me started. They missed out. And honestly, ever since then, marketing has fallen apart. We talk about how Star Wars marketing was so integral to the Star Wars success, and how it built a marketing juggernaut, and everyone wanted to replicate that, and freaking nobody has. It's a simple formula. It's as simple a recipe as making bread. Just follow the instructions and do it. Look at what George Lucas did and do that. They can't even do that. Hell, Hasbro can't even manage it right now.
Troy, that's just like the Black Cauldron. Well, the interesting thing is, I
Yeah,
always thought
no,
that
you're
Disney,
not wrong about that, Jesse. Absolutely right.
I always thought Disney, if they had the rights to the Prydain Chronicles, they could have redone those as live action movies, which might have been interesting. But because they were doing that with the Narnia movies. But then, of course, the Narnia movies fell apart under Disney too, because they didn't want to fund the third one, because they didn't want to give enough money to the third one. So then the company, Walden Media, went to 20th Century Fox instead at the time to make the Prince Caspian movie. And then we never got another Narnia movie after that. And now Disney owns 20th Century Fox, which makes me think they now own Prince Caspian, the Narnia movie they never wanted to fund to begin with. Isn't that weird? But that's okay, because now Greta Gerwig is making the Netflix Narnia series or movies or whatever that is. So the Barbie director is making Narnia movies. I'm going to move on. Let's move on to Warner Brothers Discovery eyes Christmas deadline for split of sale decision. Oh. Just kill it already. Okay, Warner Brothers Discovery eyes Christmas deadline for split or sale decision. Warner Brothers Discovery is set to make a big announcement for the end of the year, according to CNBC's Alex Sherman. The media giant, which had planned to split in 2026, will announce by Christmas if it'll go through with the separation, sell certain outlets, or bought out entirely. Meanwhile, Paramount Skydance has become increasingly aggressive in urging WBD's board to not split the company, but to sell it as a whole instead. It's already made 23.30 per share bid, which they argue in a letter delivers superior value to shareholders. This is eating Hollywood. Sorry. Okay. I'm just spitting that
real
out.
Quick, I want to ask you, Sergeant G. Welcome, by the way, if we didn't say hi to you earlier. Said I liked Willow a lot. Did you mean the original movie or that series that they had on Disney Plus? Just wondering, because I agree with you. I liked the movie. The movie was just fine. There was nothing wrong with it.
Actually, I hate to get back to Willow. I just remember this. So it's like the Black Cauldron. It's like the Black Cauldron. The fact that Disney buried the Black Cauldron for years,
exactly,
just like they're
right.
burying Willow now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't pick up on that. Sorry, I thought it was something else. All right, that's okay.
No, there's a lot of parallels besides that, but you're absolutely right.
So here we go. Now we have, at the time, Warner Brothers CDO David Zaslav made it sound like a strategic... Okay, so Warner Brothers said at a press conference they intended to separate the company in a tax-free transaction into two publicly traded companies, enabling each to maximize its potential. One part, Warner Brothers Streaming and Studios, would handle film and production distribution. The other, Discovery Global Networks, would consist of its cable and news programming and networks. That strikes me as the dying part of the company. Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
I mean, I guess people still have cable, and if they have cable, they watch their reality shows on how to flip a house and whatnot, I guess. Okay. David Zaslav made it sound like a strategic move as the cable revenues continue to decline and streaming grows increasingly dominant. The 2022 merger of Warner Brothers Discovery was looking more like a major miscalculation that had buried it under tens of billions of debt. However, insiders suspected that the proposed Warner Brothers Discovery split was designed to make it more appealing to potential buyers. Comcast, Universal, and Netflix were considered the most likely to show interest. The first move was made by the newly formed Paramount Skydance. Came as a surprise, but it was enough to excite investors, with shares soaring by 33%, briefly pushing the company's market cap close to $30 billion. If Zaslav had been hoping for a bidding war, as many suspected, it worked. So far, Zaslav has rejected 3 bids from Paramount Skydance, presumably waiting for better offers. It may be working. In the latest quarterly earnings call on October 30th, Comcast CEO designate Mike Cavanaugh said, "You should expect us to look at things that are trading in the space around our industry. It's our job to try and figure out if there are ways to add value." That same day, Reuters reported from an anonymous source that Netflix hired the same bank that Skydance used in its acquisition of Paramount, and as the streamer explored making a bid war for Warner Brothers Discovery. A week earlier, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos claimed that his company had no interest in owning legacy media networks. Whether he was bluffing or the idea of owning Warner Brothers Discovery properties like DC Studios proved irresistible is open to speculation. The Paramount Skydance is doing everything in its power to fend off other suitors is undeniable. Its series of letters to Warner Brothers Discovery board members arguing its case for a sale before the split is only Paramount Skydance's first line of attack. According to Sherman's sources, if Warner Brothers Discovery stalls in its decision or decides to move in a different direction, Paramount has discussed taking an offer directly to shareholders and formalizing a hostile bid for the company. Yikes.
Yeah.
Remember the old days, years ago, we were talking about Jason Killar,
Yeah.
We're going to do day and date streaming and movies, and Warner Brothers is healthy, and now here we are.
Yeah.
What a mess.
real quick, I know you didn't want. I know you wanted to move on, but I just thought this
Go
was too
ahead.
funny. We have to go back to this. So
Willow
USRNG
again.
responded to me and said it must have been the original movie because I never watched anything on Disney Plus. Jesse Guajara says, "Clue, I didn't know there was a series." Clue laughs. And
No, there is no
I didn't even know
Willow.
there was a series. Yeah.
There's some guy sitting in a room somewhere by an employee at Disney and saying, "What is this? That's Willow the series. I watched it." And he says, "Really? It never existed." And it's like
It is
hard.
going to be
It's
one
like
of those
Picard
lost
torture.
medias. It's going to be one of those lost medias now because they decided to take a tax write-off, remove it from the platform.
And it
There
never had a
is
physical
no
release.
physical media of it. It is out there on the interwebs for the diehards that just are interested in
It's okay.
the young adult lesbian plot. But
I'll
other
skip
than
it.
that,
They turn too many things into YA style plots. That's another problem. We had
exactly.
I felt that was what was going on with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. It had a YA feel to them, which is why I was not a huge fan of
Yeah.
those. Andrew
Speaking
Garfield
of
was great
which.
though. Supergirl reshoots reportedly injecting testosterone into DC film by adding Superman and Lobo. I always had the impression that Lobo was going to be in this. From, of course, maybe that's where the reshoots footage was showing.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. My understanding is that Lobo was not in the original Girl of Tomorrow that they're basing this on in the first place. But they were using this as, hey, let's find a way to shoehorn him in so we can introduce him to our universe. And he did so well in the test market that they are now going back and doing reshoots to add more Lobo to it, which, I'm of two minds about this. On the one hand, when they say, hey, we're following the source material, I'm like, no, please don't do that, because the Girl of Tomorrow or Woman of Tomorrow or whatever it's called sucked. It's another one of Tom King's I need to work out my PTSD through my writing stories instead of a good Supergirl story. But at the same time, if it is going to be your template, you're gonna, I don't know.
Okay, so on the original Superman the Animated Series, there was a great Lobo story called The Main Man. It was a two-parter, and it starts out with Lobo's a bounty hunter, right? And so this alien called the Collector hires Lobo and says, I collect the last alien species of its kind throughout the universe. That's what I collect. And there is a Kryptonian on planet Earth. Go get him for me. So Lobo goes to Earth and him and Superman duke it out. And finally, Lobo manages to get it so that Superman gets subdued and kidnapped by the Collector. And then, of course, and the Collector says, there's also another species I want, the last Zardian. He says, the last Zardian, I'm the last Zardian. I destroyed my whole planet in my science project, gave myself an A for school. And then, of course, Lobo gets kidnapped, and him and Superman have to work to get off the ship then, because basically, you understand.
Yeah.
But what was interesting was that was what they were going to use for this movie. It could be Supergirl trying to help her cousin get out from the Collector's clutches or something. That might be an idea for a plot, but I'm not saying that's what's happening. Okay, ahead of it's July 2026.
Honestly, we've talked about one thing that a trend in superhero movies that's actually been kind of good, and that's not continuing to go back and retell origin stories. Unfortunately, I do feel like Supergirl kind of requires an origin story. And I mean, we sort of kind of got one with the Helen Slater Supergirl, but if there's one that needs to be retold, it's that one. And they absolutely could have done that. And in so doing, set up the world building of Krypton and all that we didn't get because there wasn't an origin story for this iteration of Superman, again, which we didn't need. But we do need the introduction of this version of Krypton. This version of Supergirl's origin. This would have been the perfect time to do it, and they're not doing it.
Well, what makes you think we're not going to get it, though?
Because they're basing this on... Well, they might... Okay, so going back to Woman of Tomorrow, there are elements of that in it, so there may be some flashback elements of that. But if they're trying to shoehorn in more Lobo, that means there's going to be less and less of that, if any. So who knows what the F we're going to get from this.
Well, I'm assuming it's to have action sequences because that's what people. I mean, of course, they could do different. Never mind.
You know
Anyway,
what it's gonna be? Yeah, they're gonna reduce Supergirl's origin to hey, we're gonna send you to Earth to look after baby Kal-El because his parents died and he doesn't have any family. Oh, we're gonna die too! Isn't that funny? Because that's how James Gunn writes.
yeah, that's not what they. I always thought how they did it on Superman the animated series was instead of, for starters, one of the rules was Superman's the last son of Krypton, and they're like, how are we going to do Supergirl? So what they did they had it be a Kryptonian colony instead. That was like at a planet adjacent to Krypton. So when Krypton blew up, their planet got royally messed up. And
Yeah.
so her and her family went into cryostasis, but she's the only one that survived the cryostasis when she's woken up by Superman all
So
these years
what's
later.
actually okay?
Yes.
So that's an interesting take on it.
Yes. And it was
Supergirl's
called
original
Planet Algo instead of Argo
Argo.
City. Argo City.
Argo.
It was a planet.
I'll
instead
tell
of
you
a-
what,
yeah.
that is a great interpretation because in the original origin, Argo City was literally a city on Krypton.
Yeah.
And her father built a dome around it. And let's face it, that worked well in the Silver Age, doesn't translate well into the modern age.
Right.
So the idea of it being like, I don't know, a moon or a sister planet in the same system or something actually is kind of brilliant. That actually works a whole lot better.
Yes. And they could do that. So they're going to have, since July rumors have circulated that Jason Momoa's portrayal of the character movie is reportedly a hit. Oh, so Jason Momoa is playing Lobo.
Yes, he is. That's the
like
whole
Lobo.
reason they're even introducing Lobo, was because James Gunn is a child. He bought into the whole, fan theory that he would make a good Lobo. So he's literally willing to bend his version of the DC universe around Jason Momoa as Lobo.
Oh,
That's literally what he's doing.
They're going to have him cuss like crazy.
Probably. But I don't have a problem with that if they do it the way they did in the comics, where he calls everybody a poozer.
Yeah,
and,
make
all
up
these
fake
made-up
alien
words.
cuss words. Yes, that's what they did on the cartoon too. Yes. Superman costume currently is in production. Okay, next Superman movie, Man of Tomorrow, isn't in production, but Supergirl's doing reshoots. The timing can't be ignored unless Cornswood is only appearing in some sort of bookend sees. This signals a major rework in the plot, which, according to everyone we've seen told, is a fairly female-centric. According to Variety, what?
Haven't watched Gunman starring James Gunn just yet. I like
Funny.
that.
The movie has her traveling across the galaxy to celebrate her 21st birthday with Crypto the Superdog. Along the way, she meets a young woman named Ruthie and winds up on a murderous quest for revenge. What? Who's on a murderous quest for revenge? Ruthie or Supergirl?
But let me answer Tree Rock Creations. Why is Supergirl drunk all the time? Tom King. That is the answer. Tom King has decided that she is going to be the rebellious teenage character, because that's what you want in a superpowered Kryptonian, right? And they kind of explained it at the end of the Superman movie by James Gunn, written by James Gunn, directed by James Gunn, starring all of James Gunn's family.
And written by AI. I'm sorry. No, wait.
Well,
sorry. I'm kidding. I have no evidence of that.
The whole story is that she has this tendency to go off to planets with red suns so she can get drunk. But then when she comes home, she's blitzed. Don't know really how that works, because once she's in the Earth solar system, and she gets her powers back, her metabolism should burn off all that alcohol. But whatever, it's whatever James Gunn wants in his James Gunn universe, because James Gunn.
Okay, yeah. Supergirl went into production for the release of John Wick spin-off Ballerina. That movie was famously delayed for reshoots that brought in Keanu Reeves' character to establish story, Wick universe. Ballerina flopped. Ballerina flopped because, from what I heard, it wasn't good. I'm not picking on it. I like Ana de Armas, but I heard the movie was like in reshoot hell, and it just didn't turn out good.
I didn't hear anything about whether it was good or bad. What I heard was that a big problem with it was a failure in the marketing, because a lot of people looked at it as, oh, another girl boss movie, when I guess it wasn't actually really that. So it could have just been bad marketing and bad message managing.
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess we'll see. See, the trouble is they're trying to keep the hot iron going. If they're and I almost wondered if they were waiting to see how Superman was received. Now they're redoing Supergirl to match the tone of it. Is that what this
Well,
is?
and here's the other thing. They're clearly trying to swing the pendulum the other way. They don't want you to think this is girl boss. So that's why they're saying, oh, they're reshooting to add more testosterone to DC's film. So now this messaging is ridiculous, because now you're pushing away all of your modern audience people that think, masculinity is toxic, but you're also annoying people that are like, the real fans going, don't pander to us. We're not coming to see this anyway. Go screw yourself.
You know what this movie probably needs, and they're not doing it, obviously? I think it needs Wonder Woman to basically come in here and
Which
slap
we're not
me
going to
in the
be
face.
seeing until probably after the sale, and James Gunn is no longer going to be around.
Because at least this version of Clark as Superman is not going to be trying to discipline her. Wonder Woman would not take any attitude from her. They would just
They
fight.
did
Yeah,
a great
she
job
would
of
be,
this
yeah.
in the animated series,
Yeah.
where she
that
kind of
movie,
steps
yeah.
in and says, Clark, she needs a female influence.
She brings her
let's
to
take
Paradise Island, and
Paradise
she's
Island,
around
yeah.
superpowered women, so it's
Yeah.
more. So and they train her how to be responsible, and
And I think that's
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. It makes sense. In fact, that kind of spawns out of the, I don't want to say the modern comics, but the more recent comics, the DC Trinity, where Superman and Batman, there was a title that was Superman and Batman. I don't know if it even was called that, but it had the Superman Batman symbol on the front, that they wanted to use in the days before they decided to do the Superman versus Batman movie. Batman v Superman, that Batman symbol with the S emblazoned on it. That was
I remember
that was the logo on the title, so everyone just called it Batman Superman. And Batman it was a joint mission where Batman and Superman find Kara's crashed ship.
Yes.
And it's a very weird kind of. At first, she only speaks Kryptonian,
Yes.
so only Clark can talk to her.
Yes.
And he's trying to calm her down, and she gets very adversarial with Batman, and it's this whole weird thing. And he's like, Clark, you really need to take control of this situation, and he's just a little too. He's let's face it. I have family. I don't want to, take a strong hand here. And Batman's like, she's too dangerous if you don't. And then Diana steps in and says, Bruce is right. Let me help,
Yes. So, and I like that, and that was a good story, I thought. And then of course Darkseid ends up getting involved too, which I thought was interesting. So,
we knew they were
There you-
going to. We knew they were going to, Gorillas. Just a side
well,
note.
here's the
for
weird
real
thing. You
low
and I are
power.
just talking about a female superhero centered movie that we both liked, and
Yeah.
I think there's even a time where Wonder Woman runs into Barda, and how Barda says that I look up to you. I thought that was interesting, because Barda was looking at Wonder Woman as an inspiration to be better, which I thought was interesting. So you had all these different
That is something that in a more recent comic, Bruce Wayne, who has for a period of time had a romantic interest in Diana, said that's your real superpower. It has nothing to do with all of your powers and abilities. It's your compassion and your ability to see the
Right.
good in people that other people can't. I also want to say something about this actress, and I'm forgetting her name, that they've cast out. When they first gave the casting, and I looked at the, you know, the only images that came up of her were the ones in the House of the Dragon. I was like, this does not look like Supergirl. She looks great in this movie.
She
I mean,
looks better here, yes.
except
I
for the
think.
fact that she's, playing a drunkard.
Yeah.
She looks like Supergirl. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could totally get behind this girl.
I wasn't
playing
down, but I think
Supergirl.
she looks better here than she did on the other show. But that could have been because of Game of Thrones, I guess. Yeah. But
True. But I did want to acknowledge, yes, apparently, the Senate has voted to reopen the government. Whoop-de-doo. I'll be interested to see the details. But if nothing else has come of this, we found that we really can survive without government. And to the extent that there are things that aren't happening because of the government shutdown, you need to question why government is involved in those things.
yeah.
Just saying. But I like the Ghost in the Shell live action movie, but Hollywood is sabotaging everything, Tree Rock. They really are. They can't even get out of their own damn way. That's what's killing the whole industry.
Yeah. So moving on to Paramount has moved on from Star Trek. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I think we're going to do a deep dive into this.
We're gonna do a deep dive of this on Friday for last call, where we are going to probably do a Kelvin timeline
retrospective. All three
what do they
movies.
call it? A post-mortem, because
it's a post-mortem.
It's dead, Jim.
You had been saying this for a while. Every time I'd bring up, oh no, this producer over at Paramount said they're doing it, and you said no. You kept saying no, and you were right.
I have been pointing out that for as many times as they have announced new Kelvin timeline movies, I said this is no different than all of the Star Wars movies that Kathleen Kennedy keeps announcing and never come to pass. They are trying to convince people to give them money to make a movie when they have nothing in place. And the last one we talked about, all of the actors were like, "Oh, we haven't heard anything about this. Nobody's approached us." And that tells you right there it ain't happening, because they're all doing other movies. They're not available to do Star Trek anymore.
Yeah, they have careers. Zoe Saldana's in a ton of things right now. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, and Chris Pine has been in a lot of crap, but
he's been a lot of crap, yeah.
But at least he's been busy,
Zachary Quinto, what's he been up to lately?
I don't know. Maybe he's pushing for a Heroes reboot or something.
He would show up on American Horror Story. I used to like him on that.
Yeah.
He was good on that. But anyway, Paramount has moved on from a Star Trek Kelvin timeline film. You've heard it all before. An attempt to build sequels to 2016's Star Trek Beyond, 9 years old at this point. Just saying. But a new trade report today seems to indicate that adventures of Chris Pine's Captain Kirk are over for good. The recent Skydance acquisition of Paramount Pictures has fueled expectations that a new owners have rights set another Star Trek feature film, but a new report from Variety today seems to indicate that this will not include the cast of J.J. Abrams' Kelvin timeline films, whose last attempt at a reunion fizzled out in late 2022. I hope that this is an indication that Secret Hideout is on its way out, too.
I do too.
I'm done with Bad Robot. I'm done with Secret Hideout. Put you guys out to pasture. The new executive leadership recognized it must move fast and pull off its grand plans. In addition to signing talent, things like Smith and Matt and Ross Duffer, the brothers behind Netflix Stranger Things, team is trying to assemble a slate of films that can attract audiences to theaters at a time when the box office is in a slump. Well, I'll actually give them points for that. And to be fair, Skydance, they were the ones I think that had one of the biggest box office draws in recent years with Top Gun Maverick. That got people to theaters, so they need to have more stuff like that. It's also working on sequels to Top Gun and Days of Thunder. Oh, that's interesting. They're doing a Days of Thunder sequel.
Yes. I thought we talked about that, didn't we?
I don't remember talking about this.
Okay.
There's so many racing movies these days.
I know.
That's probably what got us confused. I think no. Here's how I think how you got confused. The director of Top Gun Maverick also directed F1, and F1 also had a leading man in Brad Pitt, who I guess is sort of like a well, not Tom Cruise, but he's sort of
Yeah.
He's a movie star. Okay, he's one of the last movie stars, as is Tom Cruise. So yeah, but anyway, interesting. They could do an F1 meets the guy from Days of Thunder. Brad Pitt
That would
versus
be
Tom
interesting.
Cruise. That would be interesting. Okay, but that's it. We're not. We'll dig more into this on Friday. Are you going to miss it though?
I am not. I saw the first one, and I was like, it was like I wanted to. I felt this. Okay, this is a great example because these are both J.J. Abrams, right?
Yes.
I saw the Star Wars movie. What was it, 2019 or whatever? I saw the Star Trek movie.
Yes.
Then I saw, and I also saw the Force Awakens. Both movies were meh, and I was like, well, okay, I got to see what happens next. When I see what happens next, I'm like, okay, screw this, it sucks, forget about it. And the things that happened in that first Star Trek movie, were like, okay, if this is an alternate timeline, fine. But they didn't treat it like an alternate timeline. They decided that it not only changes everything from the point of view of where the future ships come into the past, but it also changes history before that. I'm like, this makes no sense. And that's what everyone has said about this. It was so poorly done.
Yeah.
No, it just sucks. I'm sorry.
We're going to get into it on Friday. Okay, moving on to another story, which interesting. Universal. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz set to return for The Mummy 4. You know what helped this? Remember, I think it was a year or two ago, I think we did a report on how they re-released The Mummy into theaters and it did very well. The original 1999
exactly.
movie. And I think they took that as, why aren't we just doing a follow-up? Okay, so Universal Pictures isn't digging up some forgotten relic for nostalgia's sake this time. Audiences finally will will a legacy sequel into existence themselves after years of the fan campaigns and Brendan Fraser's remarkable resurgence. The Mummy franchise is officially back, and this time the studio is bringing the treasure. Both Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are returning for The Mummy 4. The new film will be directed by Matt Bettinelli Open and Tyler Gillett, collectively known as Radio Silence, the duo behind Ready or Not and the 2022 revival of Scream. Universal is staying tight-lipped about the plot and production details for now, but the announcement alone is enough to send fans into excitement. For longtime moviegoers, this isn't just sequel news, it's a cultural moment. Hollywood has spent years insisting viewers wanted grim reboots, sober tone poem blockbusters, and identity-driven messaging posing as adventure epics. Yeah, well, I know that's what Hollywood thought. We didn't want that. But sometimes the audience just wants a fun, pulpy, heroic romp where classic action led cracks, jokes, survives sandstorms, and saves the day without rolling their eyes at the script. And a few franchises embody that spirit. A few franchises embody that spirit better than the Mummy series. Are they going to ignore Mummy 3?
They don't have to. Why would they have to?
I guess they wouldn't have to. That was weird because did that one take place in the 50s with their adult son?
No, his son was a little bit older, but he wasn't an adult. I think he was a preteen.
Well, that was the second Mummy movie where he was like the preteen, I think, right? No. I don't remember. It's been a while.
They didn't have a child in the second one yet. In the third movie, they recast Rachel
with Maria Bello, which was so bad.
Well, it was bad, but it was kind of clever the way they did that,
Yeah, because she was telling it out a different person. Just
Yeah, you look like a completely different person. Yeah, which I thought was kind of cute,
do
actually.
you want the Yetis to be acknowledged?
Why not?
Because they were dumb.
You don't need to
Not as
focus
dumb as
on
the
it at
pygmy
all.
mummies in part 2, but anyway, look.
So actually, so we don't have any details, right? Because they said they're being very
Yes.
tight-lipped
That's
about
fine.
this. I did comment on this a little bit last week during a liquid lunch. I did say this was actually part of my WTF Wednesday. I'm like, WTF, not in a bad way. I was not expecting this. This has a great deal of what is it? He's an adult.
He
In
was an
there.
adult part. That's why Rachel Weisz, because he wasn't going to play the guy's mother of an adult
Oh
child. I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
old
yeah, I
enough yet.
see it.
That's what happened. Okay, you don't remember part 3. You blocked it out. I know you have.
I've only
Jet Li
bought
and
like
Michelle
one.
Yeoh were in that movie. Did you know that?
Yes, and I
I
like
think there was kung fu, right?
I
Okay,
like
go
the
ahead.
idea that they were getting away from
Egypt and going somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yes.
because there are other kinds of mummies out there. Other cultures have mummies, right? So I thought, and so they were drawing on the whole terracotta.
Right, the statues and whatnot.
Exactly, and I like that idea.
Well, that's what I thought they were going to do with the Tom Cruise one. It was going to be a Sumerian mummy, but that's not what it ended up being.
No,
Yeah.
what they ended up doing was absolutely ridiculous. What I said on Wednesday was, again, we don't have any details, and we're not going to for some time. But I said what would be kind of brilliant is what I'd like to see them do is they've done 2 movies on Imhotep, right? And they've given us enough backstory about Imhotep. What? What do you
Is
think?
it Karis?
Yes, that's what I'd like.
Yes. Do
Because
Karis.
we saw that Imhotep had other priests
Yes.
that were faithful to him that were killed and mummified along with him. I said, what if they go back and again do the backstory, and you find out that one of those priests that we saw in the second Mummy movie was Karis, and that he also was having an illicit affair with some female, whatever, and Karis was like, you work with me and I will find a way to help you if you help me.
Pharaoh's other mistress. I got you. Okay.
And it ties, well, not necessarily. It could have just been, some other woman that
the Hebrew water girl played by Deborah Paget in the Ten Commandments or something.
Well, it could be. Yes. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. But this idea that because he was a priest, he wasn't supposed to be having this relationship with this girl or whatever.
Yes.
Could be a whole different story.
Especially not some filthy Hebrew, probably, right? That's what they would say, right?
Well, we don't want to get too, with the way geopolitics are these days. Maybe not.
Oh, yes, I forget. Yes, I forget. Yes, I'm not.
But
never mind.
No, you're right. But the fact is, they could develop that. It would, yes, if they did something with Karis, being another priest that was faithful to Imhotep or a confederate of his or whatever, it would make for an interesting story. And it would give them an opportunity to jumpstart their whole universal dark universe that they can't seem to manage. This would be great inroads into that. It would reestablish the canon of the previous Mummy movies that people love, continue forward, and but I am not sure there's anybody over at Universal that's been this clever. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is a great opportunity. Don't blow it, Universal. That's all I'm saying.
Unless they decide to do like Aztec Mummy instead.
That could actually be interesting too.
Yes. All right, so we'll wait and see, and good to see the 2 of them together. Rachel Weisz actually apparently doesn't age from what I've seen, so that's good. So they go cast her.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you
Right.
should. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to
They,
our.
they they could imply that there's something in that because of her
Related to
encounter with
the descendant
the
of the.
mummy thing, and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Moving on to images leaked for Lego Star Trek Enterprise D launching Black Friday. Look at this. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful set. Now the Lego has officially revealed its largest Star Trek set to date. What do you mean largest Star Trek set to date? The only Star Trek set to date. The upcoming
No,
icons.
is that true? I don't.
I don't think they've ever had a Lego Star Trek set before. No, they've had plenty of Star Wars sets, but I've never seen
No,
a Star
no,
Trek
no. They
set.
have. They've had a Deep
Nope.
Space Nine one. They had
Nope.
a smaller
I
Enterprise.
don't remember this ever, but maybe I wasn't paying attention. Okay.
Yeah. There's also been Klingon. Yeah. Oh, here's a Klingon D7. Yep.
Sure, this wasn't stuff that fans made on their own.
So these weren't Lego specific. This was a company called Blue Bricks.
Well, there you go. Yes, other companies made them, but not Lego itself. I got
Yeah.
you. But here we go. We have the Enterprise D. This is a huge ship too. 3,600 piece model represents the Danish toy company's most ambitious foray. Star Trek universe. The set recreates the Galaxy class starship from Star Trek: The Next Generation at an impressive 60 centimeters in length. Price at $399.99 in the United States.
Ah.
The model targets adult collectors and Star Trek enthusiasts. Leaked images from South Korean platform Naver provided the first detailed look at the set's construction. The Enterprise D features a detachable sausage section mirroring the ship's separation capability from the television series. The design emphasizes accuracy through curved slopes, wedge plates, and tiles that create the vessel's distinctive smooth hull. The model includes extensive printed details with the ship's registry, USS Enterprise NC-1701D, prominently displayed on the saucer section. Printed windows form a continuous ring around the outer edge with subtle gold and red markings break up the predominantly light gray surface. That's good. You got to do that, right?
So there is an official Lego shuttle. I just dropped the link for that if you want to see it. That is significantly smaller with it is in scale with their minifigures. So you can imagine.
I hate to tell you this, that little shuttle, you only get that if you buy this from Lego.com within a window period.
Interesting. Very clever.
They do this all the time.
Marketing. Yeah, very.
And the shuttle comes with a mini ensign row. I thought it should have been Dr. Pulaski myself. I think that should have been the bonus figure.
Oh, that's very smart. They give you an ensign row in a shuttle so that you can kill her off, just like in the Bard series.
Anyway.
Brilliant. That's brilliant marketing, guys.
I would have went with Dr. Pulaski as the bonus figure, but anyway,
which is why I think that the whole mint on card company, these non-Lego companies, might be the way to go, guys. I'm gonna drop a link to the mint on card runabout. Just saying, there's other options out there besides Lego. If you're not getting your brick on enough from Lego themselves.
So you want to know about the minifigures? Captain Jean-Luc Picard with teacup.
Right. Which is not in scale with this build, by the way. Because you can only imagine how big this ship would have to be.
Because you're also buying this for the minifigures. Let's be honest here.
Right.
Commander William Riker with trombone, Lieutenant Commander Data with his cat Spot. By the way, I have seen cats like that because I was watching Lego Movie earlier, and there were a bunch of little Lego cats running around on that movie, just like it. Lieutenant Worf with new hair mold and gray communications module. Oh, it must be a hair mold made specifically for this Lego set. That's probably what they mean. Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge with engineering field kit briefcase. Dr. Beverly Crusher with medical tricorder title. Counselor Deanna Troy with PADD tile. Wesley Crusher with engineering field kit. Why?
Can you imagine how big a Lego Enterprise would have to be in scale with their minifigs? It would like be as big as your house.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. That's how big it would be if they were that size. Guidon with green bottle and new hair hat mode. The green bottle is clever. That refers back to the Scotty thing.
It is green.
What is this? It is green, yes. All minifigures printed Next Generation uniforms with detailed arm printing representing the first official Lego Star Trek character figures. Accompanying the Enterprise D is the Star Trek Type 15 shuttle pod. Oh, they mentioned that. Gift with purchase. And only if you buy it, I think during a Black Friday period. So looks very neat.
This is a great way to really alienate your customers, because yes, I want this shuttle, but I can't afford the damn, Enterprise, and I have to get it in this specific span of time, so I'm priced out of the market. Screw you, Lego.
So before you attack Lego, and not that I'm here to defend Lego because I'm not that invested, but it's also possible later on down the line they'll make a new version of this shuttle with a new minifigure, okay? And it will be different from the one shipping with the set.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah. Because honestly, the need to specifically get Ensign Rowe is like... Really?
I think it's more about Ensign Rowe, because I'm sure at some point they'll probably release a shuttlecraft, and because they release multiple versions of different things over time.
In fact,
they've done multiple Batmobiles over the years. So
I'll give you a great marketing thing. You put out that shuttle with another iteration of Picard, maybe a season 1, season 2 version of Picard, because of that one episode where Picard was in the shuttle and he was in that time loop situation. That would be some clever marketing.
It would be interesting. Now, to be fair though, I don't know if this is just a standalone set or if we're going to see more Star Trek sets. It's hard to tell. They're probably trying to gauge how well this sells before they would do an entire Star Trek line. I do know that there's a rumored... actually, it's not even a rumor. I know it's coming. There's going to be an X-Files set sometime next year, too, which I'm very curious about. Oh, look, Hallmark ornaments. We could do a whole thing on Hallmark ornaments.
I just want to thank you for being here, Horror Cat Dad. I'm going to just do another shout-out to Retro Blasting, who has continuously gone on about, and he's not the only one, continuously gone on about these exclusive Comic-Con, if I don't go to Comic-Con, I can't get this exclusive doodah. And a lot of people have pointed this out. If I can't collect them all because of your exclusives, then I'm just going to get out of the collecting game altogether. Just saying. And I understand that mentality.
Yeah. So here's what it is. A lot of the time these bonus sets, they're not essential. Like they're not... like when you get the Goonies set, you get like the attic as well. But if you don't, if you're, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe fans will get angry, but I suspect if this is successful to do a Star Trek line, you'll get shuttlecrafts down the line. It's like when you bought the Death Star set on Lego, you'd get like an exclusive TIE fighter you could attach to it, but they've made other TIE fighters before. You can get various scales. So anyway, by the way, the you think this is bad? The Death Star set they released this year?
Yeah.
$999.99. This is a larger version of the one they did years ago, which they had another Death Star set also. That's why I'm saying, my little Galaxy Explorer isn't looking so bad, is it?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah.
But no, if you're a Star Trek nut and you like Legos, this might be for you. I will not be picking this up, but it's a quality set. I'm not going to say it isn't. Because frankly, if I'm going to splurge on any of them, it would probably be the X-Files set, but we'll see. And that brings us to the end tonight, and I guess that's it. No reserved seats, I take it, right?
Right. I'm sorry I asked twice because I missed it. I'm doing multiple jobs here, being a co-host and trying to follow the the comments and whatnot for 3 different channels. Just saying. So don't beat me
It's
up too
hard
badly about that.
sometimes. That's what people
It
don't
is.
understand when you stream live. Like
Yeah.
sometimes when we don't get to a comment, it's not necessarily personal. It could just be that we're juggling so much. But we always love seeing your comments, though. Feel free.
Absolutely,
to keep
guys.
commenting. Yes.
And I'm going to say, going back to something that we said during the good old days when we were talking Lego, it relates directly to what you were talking about with the multiple versions of Star Wars and Star Trek Legos. They'll do these things in different scales for different price points. And I'm going to, throw out another, although I'm not going to specifically drop the link to it. You can check out Retro Blasting. He's done a number of Lego related videos, specifically in terms, thank you, specifically in relationship to Indiana Jones. There's a number of fan outlets that give you, for lack of a better term, recipes to make your own, builds using Legos, for things that are out there for your world building, so to speak.
Yeah, like you said, you used to use the pirate ships for D&D campaigns.
Exactly, and Michael French has pointed out that because he's had so much difficulty with the 3 3/4 inch Indiana Jones.
So, yeah.
No, you can check out his videos about that.
I used to collect Raiders of the Lost Ark toys when they were out, because when I got off Star Wars, I was getting into Indiana Jones, and they were so hard to find. For starters, good luck finding Indiana Jones, because, of course, they would print up just as many Indiana Jones as every other single figure, despite the fact is, no, you have to print more Indiana Jones than the other types of figures, because he's the figure that all the kids are going to want.
Right.
He's the hero of the series, you idiots.
And the problem they keep running into is, who is your bad guy for Indiana Jones? Well, a non-politically correct historical,
there's
group
that.
Of bad guys.
You had to mail in for the Belloc in the ceremonial garb, the Hebrew, or the Jewish ceremonial garb for that. When he was unveiling the Ark of the Covenant. You had to mail in for that, kind of like how you mailed in for the Emperor with the Star Wars toys. I mean, remember that? Yeah.
Right, and Retro Blasting has some videos about that too, and it's worth checking out. He's got a number of videos related to that. Good stuff.
If only there had been a button on the back to make his head explode.
Deleted. We weren't, saying like you were giving us any grief or anything. We were just saying it's hard sometimes. So I didn't want you to think because I asked you twice, I may have missed your response, and apparently I did. But this is that whole together we grow thing. We wanna support each other, and I didn't want to miss out on forwarding everybody, because I had the same problem on Friday. Fridays on Liquid Lunch, I try to always forward everybody to Wilkie's Movies and Music, and he didn't have a video, a stream on Friday for me to forward you guys to. So, oops, there you go. But that is how we do kind of cross-pollinate and try to support each other. So, if nothing else, guys, just make sure you're subscribed to Deleted Scenes. He usually has a video right after ours, a stream called Reserved Seats. And one thing that I was talking with Deleted Scenes about in the background, haven't had a chance to talk to you about this, Boomer, but let's talk about this for the sake of the audience. I am thinking about doing a late night stream going forward that will come after Deleted Scenes Reserved Seats.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking like, midnight 30 type of thing. I'm going to start doing a Doctor Who stream.
Oh, wow.
Starting with, what was the name of that first serial? With
Unearthly
the first
Child?
Unearthly Child. Yeah, and
Wow,
just
you're
kind of go
going way
from
back.
there on.
You could
Oh
do you
yeah,
could
yeah.
do each part too as a separate late night thing if you wanted to, or do the whole
Yep,
thing.
yep. Because here in Chicago, that's how we would watch Doctor Who
Well,
was late night on
well,
Sundays.
well, you'll have enough material to go on for a long time.
Oh
I'll say
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. So I'm not saying I'm going to do it like right away. Maybe after the holidays.
Thinking
I
about it?
don't
Okay.
know.
All right.
But yeah, we'll talk
Interesting.
about it. But I kind of want to mention it now to kind of whet everybody's appetite.
I do. Yeah, yeah. That was that's the original. That was one that got delayed because of the Kennedy assassination.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah, maybe I'll talk about that when we get into it. But yeah.
So let's see. So that brings us to I'm trying to think.
Well,
Uh,
should we get into what we got coming up this week?
yes. Tomorrow night, what you got going on?
So, members' night at the movies, members, which includes you now.
That's right. So who
You
knows?
know.
Maybe I'll pop by. We'll see.
So tomorrow night on members' night at the movies, every Monday, we watch a movie that is chosen by the members, and for whatever reason, you goofs decided you wanted to watch Zombieland. So tomorrow's movie will be Zombieland. There you go. And that's at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, as it usually is. But a week from tomorrow, so on the 17th, we're going to have a very special Monday night at the movies that I'm opening up to everybody, not just members, because it's Life Day. And we're going to do our annual watch party of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
With Lumpy?
Yeah. With Lumpy and Itchy and Mala. And
Please tell me it's to thank the Maker Cut.
yeah,
Good.
it'll be the Thank the
You
Maker
know,
cut.
Netter,
Have
one
to
day
be born.
we're gonna
What?
get back to the original at some point. It's gonna happen.
Probably.
It is waiting in the wings, but not this year.
Unfortunately, even with the Thank the Maker edit, we still end up with Carrie Fisher
It's
singing. But we do downplay a lot of those.
Oh
The Wookiee
man.
porn.
Yeah, it's a different kind of Wookiee.
You know
porn,
what?
yes,
A
exactly.
Vorlon would think her song and singing was poetry, pure poetry.
Well,
And
that's
Hitchhiker's
true.
Guide to the
That's
Galaxy.
absolutely
I
true.
want to know how drunk she was when she was singing.
Oh, she might have been very. We'll talk about that in a week. But so anyway, that's Monday.
Tuesday.
Well, and I deleted. Drop it in the chat. I believe you may have your what's it called? Super secret movie. But he watches it on
movie.
Monday.
Mystery movie night. And then
He
he
watches on Monday, but then he talks about it on Tuesday. So there will be that on Tuesday. Followed not by Live from Sparkwood and 21. We're going on a little hiatus for Live from Sparkwood and 21 for the holiday season, but we are starting on my channel The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes with Jeremy Brett. So we'll be doing the first episode. What is it? Something Bohemia? Oh, I'm drawing a blank
It's
now.
okay. What you need to know is if you've not ever seen it, it's what many people consider the definitive Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, and the Jeremy Brett series actually did a live action interpretation of the most original Sir Arthur Conan Doyle Holmes stories. Not all of them, but most of them. Scandal in Bohemia. Thank you. That was what I was. Thank you very much. Deleted scenes, and that's what we're doing on Tuesday. And of course, every weekday at noon Central, is Liquid Lunch on my channel. Different topic every day. Something in the middle of your workday. If you can tune in, that'd be great. Thursday, you don't have a specific guest, do you, Netter?
I don't. However, and I'm updating it right now. On my channel, y'all seem to want to do a trivia night for our next members night, which will be on a Thursday. You just have to decide which Thursday. So it'll be before Thursday things. So I'm putting in there, do you want the week before Thanksgiving or the week after? So as soon as I finish typing in the date, I'm going to hit post. Y'all go over there and place your vote for if you want before Halloween, before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. It'll either be the week before or the week after.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. Because, I mean, you might want before to relax before the holiday. Or you might want the week after because the holiday's over and now you want some stress relief. You know, whatever it is, that's totally fine. So give me about 5 minutes, then go over there and vote.
Yeah, and then we talked about last call this Friday. We're going to do a postmortem on the
Kelvin verse of Star Trek.
Yeah.
The Kelvin timeline, which I always thought was stupid. I always say, wait, what is that? I remember when we'll talk about it Friday. I just remember Tarantino's comment how Tarantino wanted to do a Star Trek movie, and then Abrams said, well, yeah, but you may probably have to be set in the Kelvin timeline. And he's like, what's the Kelvin timeline? And he was trying to explain, and he's like, no. There's one timeline for Star Trek. That's when it's set in. He couldn't wrap his head around all this nonsense. The 10% different, and he said no. I remember that.
Nope. I
We're going to talk about it Friday.
More. Yep. Absolutely.
And then Saturday.
Saturday Netter. No,
it's Netter.
Netter has
yeah, hold on. It's going to be The Gods Must Be
The
Crazy.
Gods Must Be Crazy.
I love that movie.
Yep, it's a good one.
The damage that's where a I'm not kidding you, a bottle of Coke, a leftover Coke bottle is basically for one tribe, like the Ring of Power in Lord of the Rings. How it's causing, that's basically
causes all kinds of problems. Yeah, it's a very funny, but it's also a little bit thought-provoking movie. Yeah, we'll have to.
But you think about it from their perspective, are they wrong from what they looked at it? Not really. It's
absolutely right.
Okay,
absolutely
classic movie. And that brings us back to Sunday, and be sure to tune in to Unscripted with Deleted Scenes. He had a bit of a rant tonight about Hollywood, and I don't blame him. I think we're all on the same thing. Get your act together.
Right.
We're already halfway through this decade. I think it sounds like Paramount, at least, we'll see. But I think they're thinking we need more Top Gun Mavericks, movies of that caliber. So maybe they're going to set themselves straight. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
You know what? No more blind faith. They have to prove themselves at this point.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, y'all, thank you for showing up here. Appreciate it. We will catch you next time. And that's it, I guess. Yeah. So roll the credits.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.